Hello, everyone. Hello. How's everybody doing on this Tuesday evening? Hey, Lisa O's. Hey, Miss Cherry. How y'all doing today? How's everyone doing? Hope everyone is having a great evening. I am. Thank you, Lord, for to see another beautiful day. Yes, I'm gonna wait for see if some more people will come in. Hey, Brittany, how are you, Brittany? How are you doing today? I got a story that I want to share. I don't know if y'all know about this story about the girl Ashley that I think her boyfriend unalived her in Detroit. I think it's Detroit, Michigan. Yeah, so I want to cover that story today. Um, so yeah, that's the story. I'm gonna cover that one first. I try to at least cover like three stories a day. All depends on like how long is the stories. If the story's too long, I will cover two. But if they not that long, I try to cover three, and then I go about like how many people's in my chat and how people engaging. So that'll tell me like how many stories to like actually do a day. So yeah, I'm glad to hear that, Brittany. Hey, Dream Girl, how are you? Because I don't want to sit up here and talk to myself. So that's how I do the stories according to the chat. Yeah, so everybody hit the like button for me, please, as you come in. I will appreciate it so much. Um, Hold on, y'all. Give me 1 second here. Let me just grab my link. Do y'all see what Trump is doing, honey? This man is like literally, whew, he's cutting up. He's definitely cutting up. Hmm. Okay. Oh, he's doing a lot. He stopped today at 5 o'clock. It's a hold on federal government grants at 5 o'clock today. He put that in order early this morning, so that'll start at 5 o'clock this afternoon. Yeah, y'all gotta start watching the news. Fall back from YouTube a little bit and y'all catch up on the news, because honey, we're gonna be in some trouble after a while. Like, this is real shit going on out here in real life. Well, actually, I'm not even mad about the people that he's sending back, because some of them need to go back because they're here illegal and they're committing crimes. So those are the people I'm not upset about, but I am upset about the people that he's sending back that is legal here now. They're just sweeping up anybody. You know what I'm saying? They're doing a nasty job. They're not doing the job the way the job should be done. Um, they're going into schools, grabbing up kids. Like, come on now. Come on, you traumatizing the kids. And it's just crazy how he's doing it. I'm this morning I know that they did another raid in New York early part of the morning. Um, they did. Hey, Miss Joy. Um, they did arrest one immigrant there, was here illegal, and had a rape charge that they was looking for him. So those people, I don't feel sorry for those type of people at all. Yes, he's a mess. Yes, Trump is definitely a mess. He's definitely a mess. So, you know, um, I'm trying to keep up with things. When I get off YouTube, I do definitely tune into the news, watch the news, and things like that. These are things that we need to really keep up with, like really literally keep up with to see what's going on in our country. It's not all about YouTube all the time. Sometimes you gotta fall back to see what's going on in our country. I mean, we don't live on YouTube. We live in a real world, like where real things is really happening at right now. Okay, we are in trouble with Trump. People need to understand that. You know, I don't even like looking at him too long, honey. I don't like my eyes to lay on him. But this man is a whole mess. Um, Hold on, y'all. I forgot to get my lights. Hold on, because I can't see at my desk. So let me get my light over here. Well, it's already on my desk, but I gotta get the plug. I forgot to do that, you guys. So okay. Our mail, he had a press conference here yesterday, and I tuned into the press conference. He was live. I mean, we got a great mail here. Very, very great mail that we have here. You know, so he making sure things is right. Oh, yeah. Okay, I had to get my light right, y'all. I had to get my other light on my desk right. I didn't have it on. I forgot. So sorry about that, people. Okay. One lady, she was at the airport. She was crying. She broke down with her daughter. She actually had an appointment this week, which was Monday, to become a citizen here. And being that Trump froze it for them not to take anyone else, she just decided to go back because she said she knew they would deport her anyway. And I felt so bad for her. She was with her daughter. Um, and she broke down and she cried. So it said, "Hey Rebecca, hey Auntie Lynn." So it is definitely a sad situation. It is a situation for us for real to keep up with what Trump is doing. You know what I'm saying? Keep up with the news, y'all, so you can know what is really going on out here in this world. You know what I'm saying? It's not just about YouTube all the time. It's about keeping up with what's going on out here in this world with this man. I hope nobody didn't think that this man was going to get in the chair and we was going to be great. If you thought that, you thought wrong. But this man is out here for evilness. That's who he is. He's a very evil man. And that's why he wanted to get back in that chair so bad. That was why. He didn't want to get back in the chair to make our country better. Now, sending them people back the way they're supposed to be, yeah, because someone was over here illegal, stopping the people here that was born and raised here for getting the things that they need. So yeah, some of those need to go back. I mean, they was getting more than what the people was born and raised here was getting. So yeah, they needed to go back. You know, I already knew we was in trouble. Yep, absolutely, Brittany, absolutely. I knew the same thing too. I knew once he won, it was gonna be a wrap. And it's sad. Is he going to deport his wife? Oh, he ain't gonna do that, Miss Auntie Lynn. you know, he ain't gonna do that. What I do know that like the fundings for the federal fundings and grants and stuff, that's gonna hurt the fire department. That's gonna hurt the police departments, EMTs, workers, things in that nature. Any programs any programs that's funded, that's going to hurt those programs. Okay, because that's what he's stopping at 5 o'clock today. So yeah, absolutely. Hey, Pammy Pooh. So It's a lot going on, y'all. It's a lot you have to definitely keep up with. Like, definitely tune into the news. I know a lot of people be like, "Oh Lord, I stopped watching TV." No, you better start watching TV again. Okay, you better slack back off YouTube a little bit and start watching goddamn TV again to see what's going on out here in this real world with this Mr. Trump. Okay, because he's just out for evil. He's out for evil, and I know um the mayor in Mexico, I think them two had some words. She was upset what he was doing. So she said that she's going to send all of our people back over here now that's there that's not legal. So it's like a fighting battle back and forth. Then he got into it with someone else. I forgot where that was at. And they said if Trump come for them, they was going to stop some of our supplies because you know the supplies, y'all, with like heat and stuff like that. So they was telling him that if he do that to them, if he come after them, they're gonna stop some of our heating supplies. Y'all guys got to keep up with it. Keep up with it. Um, a lot of those people from different countries feel a way about that because they got through the process of becoming legal U.S. citizens. But yes, most of them are creating, yeah, they're creating problems, and they don't need to be here. They really don't. And I know our mayor had a press conference here yesterday saying that they cannot get into any of our schools here, private schools, public school, high school, no type of schools here if they don't have a warrant. Our schools here are locked down. They cannot get in no schools here to traumatize our children here where I live. So that was put in place by our mayor. I don't understand why people voted for this clown. Exactly, Auntie. Excuse me. I just want to talk about him a little bit. We're gonna get into our real story. They voted for this clown. He told people exactly what he was going to do, and they voted exactly, Auntie Lynn. Exactly. Why wouldn't they think this man was not lying? Why? Like, for real. Hey, Joanne. Like, why? You know? Oh, we're not going to vote for the other lady. Y'all know I can't never get her right name right. Tamla, Pamela, whatever. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Oh, she don't know nothing. She don't know nothing. She did, she that, she did, she that. But I bet you she wouldn't have treated us the way he's treating us. I can guarantee you that. Now, she might have want to, did the thing with the immigrants. She might want to did that. I don't think she would have, deported them back and all that stuff. But I don't think she would have did all this dirty stuff that he's trying to put in place. Like he's really trying to put a lot of stuff in place. But because when I seen it, I'm like, what is this man is doing? Like this man is crazy. Like he got people working on the border now. All of that, all this. He came in swinging. He came in here swinging. He just didn't care. Trump didn't care. Hey, Denise. Hey, baby. How are you? Trump did not care. He came in swinging, and he's going to continue to swing. So I just advise y'all on your free time, you know, just keep up with what's going on around you in your town, your city, your state, wherever you're at. Just stay abreast of what's going on. We can't be clueless to what's going on in our country. You know what I'm saying? Don't let YouTube take you out of being clueless of what's going on around us right here in the state that you live in our country. These are things that we need to know. I tune into the news every day, every morning when I get off live, because it's getting crazy out here. It really is getting crazy. It's more other things to tune into. This is real world. YouTube is not our real world. Well, it ain't mine anyway. I'm gonna speak for me. It ain't my real world. Cause shit, thank you so much, Terry. Appreciate that, Terry. Um, it's just, it's not. It's a lot going on. It's a lot going on. I remember. Now I don't know if you're gonna do it, but people need to think about it. I remember when he said if he come back in the chair, he was gonna stop uh, uh, um, the Head Start for the 3 or 4 year olds. I remember he said he was going to stop that. I don't know. Maybe he may still do it, but right now he focuses on this right here with getting all the immigrants and stuff out of here, and maybe he will still do it. I don't know, but that was talked about at one time too. So I don't know if y'all remember that, but I definitely remember that he talked about that. I think that would be so unfair for him to stop Head Start, you know, for because Head Start is a free program for 3 and 4 year olds, until they turn 5. And I think that's something nice for communities. Why would you want to stop that? You know, Mothers can afford to pay for these daycares until their child get 3 years old to go to a regular school. You know what I'm saying? That is so expensive. Ain't nobody rich out here, you know? And then a lot of parents probably want their kids to start Head Start because they learn more. You don't learn nothing in a daycare. Only thing they're doing is eating and getting the pamper change and sleeping, playing with toys all day. People probably want their kids to go to Head Start because they want to, teach their kids early on their numbers, how to write their name, their colors, sight words, and different things like that. So I hope that doesn't ever come in place. But he did speak on that one time. Exactly, D. They better start waking up and stop all this YouTube drama. Exactly. It's a lot going on. It's a lot. Right now, it's praying time. Like for real, for real. It is definitely praying time out here. For real. It is. It is. Things is getting worse about the day. I know one thing, those damn egg oh, Denise, don't go there. I was just on the phone the other day talking to one of my supporters, and we was talking about the eggs. Baby, we was on the phone, baby. I was like, I told her, I said, girl, I can't do it. I told her, I said, Lord Jesus, I was in the kitchen making breakfast, and she was making breakfast too. And I was like, girl, I need some eggs. I don't got no eggs. I said, but they so high, girl. I left them in the store. She was like, D, I feel you. But she did say she caught some on sale. And if I catch them on sale, I get them. Girl, them egg prices is terrible. Baby, I don't eat eggs like that, but I do buy them because sometimes I need them. You can use it for potato salad, macaroni salad, like whatever, But them egg prices, these you ain't lying. Like for real. You ain't lying. Them egg prices is ridiculous now. Okay. So, mm-mm-mm-mm-mm. There was a recall on eggs. Oh, really? I didn't know that. Thank you, Brittany. Okay, now that they are patching and shipping immigrants, who is going to, baby, baby, Queen? I'm glad you said that. So let me speak on that. Okay, y'all, we still gonna have our story. I just want to talk about this for a little bit. Y'all know I talk about all kind of stuff. Okay, we still gonna have our story, our little story time. Okay, so uh in Jersey where I live, right, you don't see nothing but immigrants in supermarkets. Okay, now you send them all back. God damn it, you right. Who gonna work in them stores? Because ain't no goddamn people like us gonna work in them stores for that little bit of money. And don't get me wrong, them immigrants, now they would take what they can take and they will work for it. Okay. But see, they don't rate our supermarkets up here stuff too, because a lot of our supermarkets up here ain't nothing but immigrants in it. Okay. And you already know they probably ain't legal. Okay. Because they did a raid on our supermarkets. I don't know how many more they got to go, but they're taking it, a little one step at a time. And then where our main food coming from, where they ship the food over and things like that. you know um they sending them back. Like, who gonna pack up the food and ship the food? Like, do you really know what you're doing, Trump? Like, you're gonna have a lot of people out here that's not gonna work like them immigrants worked. They're not gonna do that for that little bit of money. So are you willing to up the pay for these people to work? You all need to prepare. Exactly. Yeah. They have a limit on how many cartons you can buy at some stores. Well, you know what? I think they should. I think they should. I remember when the pandemic was here, it was certain things that we had limits on stuff too, like bread and stuff like that. Um, Nothing. I went down in the price after COVID, shaking my head. Yeah, the egg prices had went down, then they back up. Oh my God. When I seen them on TV yesterday, I said, what in the world is going on here? What in the world is going on? This is just and as of February the first, a lot of things going up. Yeah, I can believe that. I can definitely believe that. Is putting back on business. Yeah, yeah. Mm-hmm. Yep. My daughter was talking about that with me on the phone this morning. Buy you all your own seeds to grow and find. Yeah, that's true. But then a lot of people all depends on, like, do they own their home? Do they rent? So some people may not even be able to do that. Do they live in an apartment building? Do they live in townhouses? Certain things. Now, if you live in your own home, yeah, you definitely can do that. You see how Miss Season doing her vegetables and fruits and things in that nature. So that's a blessing that she owns her own home and she's able to provide that. That's good. But that is good thinking, though. That's definitely good thinking. But it's just seems like it's time to figure it out. You're right, sis. I definitely agree with you. I definitely agree with you. Sometimes we have to figure things out. Sometimes we can't wait till things hit us at the last minute and try to do things, because then sometimes it may not work out the way we wanted to work out, especially with what's going on right now with Trump doing all the shit that he's doing. You know, so it's just a lot to think about, y'all. I was just having this little conversation because it's definitely a lot to think about. It really is. You know, and my daughters, they said, "I said, Mommy, what you got to do? Take your birth certificate and stuff out and your ID to prove that you was born and raised here." I said, "Baby, if it make you feel comfortable, then do it." I said, "Because I ain't taking shit." God damn it, do it look like I'm from somewhere else? Huh? Don't fuck with me, baby, because I be shit. Honey, I be suing the hell out y'all. Don't mess with me. Leave me alone. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So it is a lot to think about, y'all. It really is a lot to think about. So, I just want to, touch on that a little bit, you know, but a lot of stuff going up. Even some places here, y'all, a loaf of bread is $4.99. Like literally $4.99 for a loaf of bread. Now sometimes if they have sales, they have like, two for $5, two for six, something like that. But normally in some of these stores, girl, they're $4.99. But like, Lord have mercy. And I'm so glad, y'all, I'm not a bread eater anyway. I'm not a bread eater. Nah, I don't really eat bread like that. Bread can stand here a whole month, and I may eat two or three slices out of it. Like, I pick through it. Like, I'm not a bread eater like that anyway. Yeah. I want to start a garden though, just in case things go stray. To where. Yeah, starting a garden, that would be nice. That would be beautiful. I would love to could do something like that if I owned my own home. I would love that. Yep, I would definitely love that. Hmm. Yep, I would definitely love that. That would be nice. Maybe in the springtime, Joanne, go ahead and start it like in the springtime, like April. Go ahead and start it. You know. So, and I know they said with the government fundings that would hurt food pantries and things like that. They were saying that today on the news. I did hear that also too. So it's just sad. Joanne, I do too, but I have no clue how to start. Denise, if you got to Google it on YouTube. Because I follow a lady that she started her own garden and stuff when she bought her home. Google it on YouTube and honey, or if you can find somebody that can help you start it, get it started. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, yep, Joanne, just do some research on it. That's all you gotta do. You will get it. You will get it. Trust me and believe me. Yeah, well, start them now. If you got to start them now, start them. Because, say, I don't really know about gardening. That's why I say, I'm quite sure you got people on YouTube can show you the ropes and stuff for how to do it. Or ask Miss Season. That's true. That's true. Because she have a beautiful garden. And I'm quite sure she don't mind helping. Inbox her on Facebook and, let her know that you want to start a garden and how did you start it and what should you do and things like that. Hmm. And that would be nice for Miss Season to give a class on that. She can give a class on that. That would be really nice. Oh, the ground not ready. It's still cold. Yeah, that's why I say maybe springtime, like in April. You know, because we still got cold weather here too. Yeah, we still got cold weather here too. And we don't know if we're gonna get any more snow yet. Only God knows that. So yeah, okay, y'all. I have a story for y'all. I just want to, talk about that. You know what I mean? I just want to bring some light on that. Um, yeah, you're right. Oh, she said no, start your seeds inside. So you mean inside the house? Or just put them in the ground and start it now? I wish I had a backyard like that. Well, I have one, but I don't own the house, so that's what I'm actually saying. But that's a good idea. Very, very good idea. So, oh, okay, okay, indoors. Okay, got you. Okay, I got you. Inside using like a flower pot. Okay, all right, got you. I got y'all. Okay, and then once spring comes, you just take it out in your backyard and start doing it in the backyard. That sounds great. That sounds great. Sounds like she know how to do it. Okay, y'all. This story right here, we ready to get into. I don't know if y'all know anything about this story about this girl named Ashley. She's missing, and they think her boyfriend. Well, I believe he did. Anyway, unalived her from she from Detroit, Michigan. So we're gonna listen to this story. And like I said, I may do three. All depends on how the chat interact, how many people, I have in the chat, how long the stories. That's telling me how many stories to like actually do a day. If I don't have that many people engagement and stuff, I normally just do two and that be it. So we're gonna get into this story here. And I'm gonna start it. I think I start from the beginning. Let me see here. Hold on, let me turn up this commercial because y'all know they love to come with these.
Ok, ¿listo para evitar hablar del
Ooh,
salario?
these commercials just make me tired.
Again, her phone pinged in the area near her boyfriend's apartment. His name is DeAndre Booker.
Okay,
Ashley's
y'all, let me
car
just
was
take it back
recovered a
just a
few
little bit,
miles away
okay?
from there.
Let me know
Investigators
if y'all can hear it too.
Ashley Elkins.
Okay, this is the beginning. Put a one in the chat if y'all can hear it. Let me know. Yes, they arrested the boyfriend. Yeah, Auntie Lynn, I hit you up this morning to ask you about that too.
I'm Vinny Politan. The subject of my investigation is missing Michigan mom Ashley Elkins.
Thank you, Denise.
She was a young mom doing an amazing job raising 2 boys. But all that stopped when she went missing in a case that is absolutely devastating an entire family.
Thank you, Joanne.
Here's
Thank
the
y'all.
story.
Good, y'all can hear. Good. Thank you. Look how beautiful she is.
Ashley
Beautiful
Elkins
queen.
is a young mother of 2 boys. She lives in Warren,
Thank you, Miss
Michigan.
Cherry.
On January 2nd, 2025, she left her home at around 8:30 a.m. to run some errands and pick up some beauty supplies. Ashley is a beautician who sees customers in her home. After she left home that day, she was never seen or heard from again. Her phone pinged in the area near her boyfriend's apartment. His name is DeAndre Booker. Ashley's car was recovered a few miles away from there. Investigators obtained a search warrant and went inside Booker's home. They indicated there was substantial evidence collected inside, and they also indicated that based upon that evidence, they believe Ashley was murdered. Booker was booked, but not for murder, instead for lying to police. Meanwhile, the search for Ashley continues. This is a tough one. Such a young mom and doing such a great job. Think about it, when you're young, you've got two boys and you're taking care of them. You're working hard. You're doing everything right, everything you're supposed to be doing. And then something like this happens. I want to put this up. This is from WXYZ, our great affiliate out there in Michigan. And this is from January 8th, 2025. DeAndre Booker charged with lying to peace officer. The ex-boyfriend of a Warren woman who went missing last week has been arrested in connection to her case.
This just happened, y'all. This is a new case.
Investigators said he is the primary suspect. And that's important. Sometimes they won't say that there's a suspect or a person of interest. They're just gathering evidence. But here, very clear that he is the primary suspect, which brings us to the first question in our investigation. Why? Why is DeAndre Booker the primary suspect in all this? What do police know? What is the evidence that is out there right now? And why are they connecting him to this disappearance, which appears to be really a homicide investigation at this point? Joining me, Ashley Elkins' uncle, Maurice Morton, and retired police officer for 2 decades, an expert at analyzing crime scenes, now trains investigators. Mike McCutcheon is with us as well. Maurice, let me begin.
Denise, I don't know. I'm trying to figure it out. I think so, though.
Our prayers are with your family. Tell me tonight, how is the family doing, number one? And number two, what are the family's thoughts about DeAndre Booker?
Well, thank you for having me on your show, and thank you for the question. It's very tough for the family right now. The police are doing an active search for her remains right now at a landfill. So the last 2 days, we've been on pins and needles, waiting from word from the police on whether or not they've located her remains. As it relates to DeAndre Booker, the family's clear. He's a monster. And, everything, all the evidence points to this being a premeditated crime, something that he planned. The family is convinced that he was outside her home when she left out that day, that he abducted her, took her to his home, where he subsequently murdered her. So, nothing but ill feelings towards him. Can't believe he did what he did. He was very close to the family. And it's just no words for what he did. Just an absolute monster.
Mike, I want to play Stephen Fox's, what he said in court for the first appearance of Booker. Take a listen to what the assistant prosecuting attorney had to say.
Obviously, we're here on a 4-year felony for lying to a peace officer on a violent crime investigation. This is, of course, as your honor is aware, involving Ms. Elkins. And the court is to consider MCR 6.106F and MCL 765.6, a number of factors. I'm going to hit on a few if you don't mind. The first is the protection of the public. The underlying matter, although not the charge specifically, but the underlying matter obviously involves a crime of violence, potentially. We are still seeking Ms. Elkins The defendant, we suspect and believe, may know where she is, and a concern is her safety if, God forbid, the worst has not happened yet.
Why do we have this chronic disease epidemic,
What the
rising
hell?
rates of autism, cancer, and
I
autoimmune
love
disease?
court TV.
What's
I
going
love
on?
that.
So with respect to that, Judge, I believe that there is a risk to the public, specifically if she were still alive, and that's what we're all hoping for, of course. The other is the defendant's risk of non-appearance and the likelihood of conviction. Likelihood of conviction, Judge, the defendant made several material factual misstatements to Detective Lasprins and recited those to the court during the course of the initial swear to. The defendant was aware that we were investigating a missing persons report. He was aware that there was some belief of his involvement. He made misstatements about both his location as well as Ms. Elkins and how she may have left his vehicle, left his apartment complex, all of which we can demonstrate by objective evidence and video evidence to be false. So there's a high likelihood of conviction on these cases, on these matters. And then last and most importantly for the court's consideration, I think at this point, is the probability or improbability of returning for trial. We have a history that charges, at least. We do not have the disposition, but we did recover DD-214 from his time in the U.S. Army. It looks like in 2016, he was charged with a couple of matters, including larceny of private property, and more importantly, fraudulent ID documents. And then in 2017, he was charged with desertion or the absence without leave, going AWOL from the Army. Ultimately, he was discharged less than honorably, although it was not a dishonorable discharge. He was discharged from the Army in a less than honorable means or manner. We know that after the conversations, before the conversations with Detective Lasprins, but we believe after the underlying events of this case, he fled from Macomb County, went to Flint, where he was apprehended and brought back to Roseville. And we know that during that time, while he was in Flint, he accessed the internet to search for such things as fastest routes from Flint to Ohio, what to do on the run, is blood traceable, how to beat a polygraph, and deleting Google history. So Judge, I think by his own words and search history, by his prior conduct, and by what is frankly at stake in this particular matter, he's of significant risk of flight. With that, I would request a significant bond. I'm asking for a $500,000 cash surety bond, no 10%, and that a steel cuff GPS tether be attached should he make that bond.
All right, Mike McCutcheon, retired police officer. It seems there's a lot going on here, right? These internet searches about fleeing, how to beat a polygraph, is blood traceable, desertion from the Army, all goes to character and his ability to leave. But they also caught him lying. How important is that when you're initially investigating and someone is provably lying to you?
It's very simple. If you an innocent person, if you ask them a question, they'll be able to answer it. If you're lying, especially in a situation where someone's life is on the line, someone that he is supposedly cares about and would be concerned for if she was missing, of course he would be honest, because he would have a legitimate feeling that he wants to find where Ashley is. The only reason he wouldn't is because he doesn't want you to find where she is.
Thank you, Auntie Lynn. I love you. Thank you.
And that would be most concerning, is
Joanne,
someone who's
check your
supposed
inbox.
to be important in her life, her boyfriend, doesn't help you to try to find her. That'd be unbelievably concerning.
Maurice, what type of evidence has been found? Because it seemed like they executed the search warrant of Booker's home, and then they were convinced after that. Do we have any idea the type of things they may have found there?
Well, in speaking with police, they indicated to the family that they found substantial evidence inside that apartment, as well as inside a dumpster behind the apartment. In fact, they hauled the dumpster away, which I think that evidence is what led them to the landfill that they're searching now for her remains. Reading between the lines, it appears there was substantial blood evidence, which is probably why he was researching, is blood evidence traceable? He was concerned, he was worried, and this was planned out by him. He probably thought he was much smarter than everyone else, which obviously he isn't. But it's, obviously a lot of blood evidence was collected.
So, Maurice, I know you have to go tonight, so I wanted to ask you another question about the family. And like you're saying, there's a search ongoing. Is there any hope that she could be found alive somewhere, or based upon all the
she's so
information they've
beautiful.
gotten, the way police are acting and communicating, that that's no
Wow.
longer a possibility in the minds of the family?
Yeah, the family has come to, a conclusion that, Ashley was unfortunately murdered based upon the evidence that has come out thus far in our conversations with police. We know not only have they collected substantial evidence in the home, but her vehicle was recovered as well. There's been no word from Ashley, no sighting of Ashley since the day that she's gone missing, which is not, which is out of her character, because she has two young children, 7 and 10 years old, that she loves to death, that she adores, and she hasn't reached out at all. But after being presented with the evidence that the police do have at this point in the case, we feel that she is in fact deceased, unfortunately. And now for the family, it's important to find her remains. And so that's why the search that's going on now, despite, the cold weather up here in Michigan, is very important, because it will help the family, achieve closure, hopefully. And then we can get on to the next phase of this, which is securing justice. And hopefully DeAndre is ultimately charged with murder and one day ultimately convicted.
Hold on, y'all. And I'm definitely gonna keep y'all updated with this story much as I can.
Mike McCutcheon, take us inside that home. What type of evidence would you expect that they found that they could come to this conclusion, even without finding Ashley?
So I'm sure if looking at two things, his digital footprint, looking for the blood, but even without that, if they have come to the conclusion that she's deceased, the amount of DNA that you need to collect to be able to make a positive identification now is so small. So they're probably using something like luminol or blue star to find blood that's been cleaned up. Maybe a chemical called leucocrystal violet, which interacts with the blood to look for footwear, if he was wearing footwear, so that you can compare it to the footwear that he had. And some of the things that he may be disposing of aren't specifically Ashley's, they may be his. So if they're able to find footwear, for example, that is on her clothing or near those dumpsters, and they can match the shoes that he has, that is going to be a clue. And then any signs of a struggle or a cleanup. And again, that's something that if there's blood evidence, that the luminol or blue star is going to be able to indicate when they spray that, because they're going to be able to see that it was cleaned.
All right. Mike McCutcheon's going to stay with us. Maurice, I know you have to go. Appreciate you making time for us tonight. Please, again, express our deepest condolences to the family. Let them know we're thinking about them. And they have such a great spokesperson. I'm so glad that you're able to be the voice of the family, Maurice. Thank you so much. Coming up next.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Coming up next, what was going on in their relationship?
Does he have any violence or history of violence or anything?
I never knew he was violent. Now that I find out things, I know he was stalking, and some things happened. But I found out later from friends first that, yeah.
So he was.
A Ponzi scheme and a deadly poisoning.
A former pharmacist already convicted in a federal fraud case.
Now stands trial for the murder of her husband.
The financial crime gives rise to motive.
Did Natalie Cochran kill to cover up other crimes?
We're not here to obtain convictions. We're here to obtain the truth.
Now a jury will decide her fate, and Court TV will bring you every minute.
The Ponzi scheme murder trial. Live coverage begins this week, only on Court TV.
Does he have any violence or history of violence or anything?
I never knew he was violent. Now that I find out things, I knew he was stalking, and some things happened. But I found out later from friends first that, yeah.
So you think he was kind of controlling, possessive?
That I know he was, because he would go to her phone, and she was doing hair at home. And he had a problem with men coming in and get their dreads and stuff done. And so she had got a booth somewhere on 8 Mile. So that she wouldn't have any problems with him. Then when they broke up, then she just went back and started putting from her house.
When did they break up?
I want to say September.
That was Ashley's mom, Monica Elkins, speaking about this relationship. I want you to take and listen to something else she said about the defendant, DeAndre Booker, and her daughter, and what was going on, what the family thought of him, right? You know, she's dating someone, she's got children. What'd they think of this guy? Take a listen.
And how long were they dating?
A year.
Can you describe their relationship? Have you been around them when they were?
Yeah, he was around my whole family. When I say I thought he was the one who was going to marry her, just he was good to her kids. He played ball with them. He took me to their haircuts. Ashley's father was murdered also April 8th of last year. He was there for that. He went to, I worked for Stellantis, and we had a Christmas extravaganza last Christmas. He was there.
Formal.
The formal. He was there. He was always at my house. I cooked. He was part of the family. So I'm just really shook.
This lady feel portrayed it.
That he would do
it's
something
a big
like this.
portrayal to her that he would do this to
Think
her
about the
daughter.
family opens their arms up to this man to come into their lives.
Right, that's a
And
portrayal.
now all this happens. So, I mean, things seem pretty positive, and it looks like he was putting on a good show for the family, which brings us to the next question in our investigation, which is, what was going on in their relationship, right? To get to where we are now, something's going on here. Something. Joining me to help us through this, author, certified mental health counselor Sharonda Brown is with us, and criminal defense attorney, former prosecutor, and domestic violence expert Marie Pereira is with us. Thank you both. So we played that part of the interview where mom is talking about how her daughter and this man, everything seemed good. He was part of the family. They opened their arms up to him. But then they started to notice some things. Let's take a listen.
Pay attention to what you're saying about yourself,
Hold on, y'all.
your family, your finances, your health. You're going to.
Can you describe any other stalking type incidents where he was doing that?
I don't know. A friend of hers said that she felt like someone was always following her in her car. Something about another time he tried to make an appointment, but she found it was him, and she called him, and he confessed that it was him, and he just wanted to see her, that kind of stuff. I don't know.
Why did she decide to end it with him, or was it?
When we find out he had like 6 or 7 different pages, like on Facebook, he would have the same people on his page, like responding or replying or, so whatever he posted, which is strange. The same 6 people are not going to always say something. You're going to have different people, different days say things. And that's when we start realizing that something wasn't right with him.
Do you think those were fake or?
Oh, they definitely were. He was good with computers and doing things on them, and making fake pages, making fake documents. We just really didn't know who he was. We thought we knew him, but we really didn't. I knew that he had been there 2 days prior, acting like he was a client. He went on her website and booked an appointment to get his hair done, and then he came to her house. He knocked on the front door and the side door, and they didn't let him in. So here he is, 2, 3 days later. Boom, she's gone.
Some very strange, creepy behavior here. Sharonda
Yeah.
Brown, your thoughts about what's going on in this relationship and what's going on with this man, DeAndre Booker?
Most abusers, they warm up to the family. They are very charming. They do get very close because they need to study their prey. They will love on you. They will do everything right. And because they need people to trust them, they need people to believe in their efforts. Just like Mom said, I thought that she was going to be the one, that he married, and they will convince you of that. And then it becomes controlling, and then it becomes territorial, and then they become insecure. Who's that? Who's this person? They want to spot everything you're doing. And then it becomes overwhelming because it's not really love as it is control. And over time, this will become very abusive. And it sounds like she wanted to get out of it once she saw the signs and it was becoming unbearable for her. And ultimately, it ended in her demise.
Yeah, I mean, she was reading the vibes right? I mean, and once she
Sure
started to
was.
notice this stuff, Marie, she's trying to end this relationship, but he's having no part of that.
I'm honored to be on with Sharonda Browns, by the way, and I agree 100%. It's all about insecurity, abuse, and a thirst for control. So they isolate, they denigrate, they try to reduce your self-esteem, and then when you don't respond, they destroy. So maybe she was a strong woman who was like, nah, I'm not here for it. You're hounding me. I'm working as a stylist. You're worried about men coming into my shop. Now I have to leave my home, go
What's
spend
up,
money on a
PJ?
salon because you're insecure, and
What's
maybe
going
she
on,
just stood up
King?
for herself, and that's what happened that day. She was not here for it, and that's the most dangerous time, like you always say, Vinny, when the person says, I've had enough.
He's a,
when
y'all,
the
this
death
man
and
is a
destruction
narcissist.
comes to mind.
This
All right,
boyfriend
Sharonda
was
Brown,
a
Marie Pereira, I know
narcissist.
you're going to stay with us. We've got more to
Period.
get to, including a big question. Where is Ashley
Hey,
Elkins?
Miss Williams, a COVID narcissist. Yes, absolutely. This man was a narcissist, and she didn't know it. That's all the time. My boy
I'm Vinny
PJ came in
Politan.
the
We continue our
building.
investigation of missing Michigan mom, Ashley Elkins. Investigators say they believe she was murdered after searching her ex-boyfriend's home, but he has not been charged with murder. Why not? Here's the story.
Where is missing Michigan mom Ashley Elkins? She vanished on January 2nd after leaving her home in the morning to run some errands. Her family was quickly concerned. Her phone led investigators to the apartment of her ex-boyfriend, DeAndre Booker. His home was searched, and investigators believe they found evidence of extreme violence, and as a result are investigating this as a homicide. Booker was arrested and charged with lying to police. Meanwhile, search teams have continued to look for Ashley.
Okay, so let's go through a little bit of a timeline here of what happened. And I think it's very illuminating as to some of the facts and beliefs of the family and of investigators here. And we begin on January 2nd, 2025, 8:30 a.m. That's when Ashley is last seen leaving her home, and that home is in Warren, Michigan. Now, flash forward 10 minutes, just 10 minutes. Ashley's mother, Monica, arrives at Ashley's house. Then Monica sends a text message to Ashley about a dream she had. She receives a suspicious reply, which says, "Aw, man." And Ashley's mom is like, she doesn't talk like that. She wouldn't say, "Aw, man." Then Monica calls Ashley on FaceTime. So she's going to FaceTime her and, try to contact her. But Ashley doesn't pick up, gets no answer. Then this is the part where it starts to get even more suspicious in the eyes of the family. A family member receives a text message from Ashley saying she is going to a beauty supply store in Roseville. Then Ashley's phone is turned off and then turned back on. That's suspicious. We've seen that in other cases. Now, what is the last known location of Ashley's phone? Well, it is at her ex-boyfriend's apartment. Where is that apartment? In Roseville. Now, flash forward 5 days, January 7th. Investigators find Ashley's gray 2010 Chevy Malibu a few miles from DeAndre's apartment in Roseville on Little Mac and 13 Mile Road.
Wow.
So that brings us to the next question in our investigation. It's an important one. It's the one the family really wants answered. Where is Ashley Elkins?
Hey, Jersey. I was born in Newark, so my first scratch off is for you. Jersey Giant winnings. With shack-sized prizes
Let me get
up
through this
to
commercial. You know how they do us.
I've renamed the state.
This man was a straight narcissist, y'all.
Dream big.
And he threw this girl life apart.
From the evidence that we have, the timeline, what investigators are tracking, where is Ashley Elkins? Joining me, retired police officer of 2 decades, an expert at analyzing crime scenes, and he now actually trains investigators. Mike McCutcheon is with us. All right, Mike, looking at that timeline, a couple of things here. The text messages, the not picking up on FaceTime. What are your thoughts about her potentially being abducted like almost immediately as she's leaving her home that morning?
The family is going to know her normal behavior more than anyone. The police really going to focus on that. And you had said it. She doesn't talk like that. So I have a particular way of texting, and if all of a sudden I started sending you odd texts, you would be like, what is going on? That's the same here. So they're going to really have an understanding of how she behaves. And 10 minutes later to get an odd text from her like that is unbelievably suspicious. Then the turning the phone on and off. Let's be real. Nobody does that. Unless there's a problem with your phone. How many times have you turned your phone off in the last week if it wasn't for like a work-related incident or something? You don't. But for her to say, I'm going to be gone for a little bit and then turn the phone off, that is highly suspicious. Now, again, this is all circumstantial at this point, which is still valid evidence. It's still very good evidence. But that is unbelievably suspicious. Just those two things alone. And then, of course, where we look, where was the last place this person was seen? At the boyfriend's house. The FBI even considers a phone to be part of your body. Like that's how much we use our phones. They are always with us. And so for her phone to be there, she's either there or he has the phone and she's not there, because there's no way that she would be just out and about doing her errands, because that's the way we live now, is we always have our phone in reach. So I think that the digital footprint here is in what the family says is going to be particularly
Mine's in reach
important.
right now,
Exactly.
too. Mine's in reach. Let's take a listen to Ashley's mom, Monica, talking about that morning and talking about the text messages and trying to contact her daughter.
When I got to her house, it was 8:40. She left at 8:30. I went in the house for a minute, came back out. I texted her. I had a dream of her car being stolen. And she replied back, "Oh, man," which is weird to me. So I FaceTime her. She didn't answer. So I said to her, just be mindful about your surroundings and, pay attention where you're going. And she didn't call back. That's not like her. And she never called back. And she never texts back.
Do you think that all man that wasn't like her, do you think that was her answering?
No, that was him.
That was him.
He had
Exactly.
walked out that front door.
Exactly.
You know what's interesting, Mike? If we think about what mom thinks happened here, right? That DeAndre right away has abducted her. It's really abducted her in her car. Like he is abducting her, but he's also stealing her car. And then a text message is sent from mom saying, I had a dream about her car being stolen. Wow.
It's unbelievable. And I feel for the family because I'm sure they're doing the what ifs. It's 10 minutes. She said she was there at 8:30 and then her mom was there at 8:40. I can imagine the pain that the mother's going through saying, man, if I went 10 minutes earlier, we may have had a different outcome. It's unbelievable.
Now, let's get to the search because we're looking at some video right now. This is from WXYZ, January 13th. Police confirmed to 7 News Detroit that they're currently searching a Macomb County landfill in connection to the case of missing Warren mother, Ashley Elkins. The Roseville Police Department, with help from about a dozen other law enforcement agencies, is leading the search at the Pine Tree Acres landfill in Lenox Township. Now, follow-up. Multiple police agencies spent hours on Tuesday investigating at the ex-boyfriend's Roseville home at the Hampton Court Apartments. Also on Wednesday, officials said there's a strong possibility of foul play in the case, likely occurring at the apartment complex. Using a search warrant, officials say they recovered significant evidence, including forensics. Officials seized a trash dumpster at the Hampton Court Apartments on Pinehurst Street near Fraser Road, south of 11 Mile Road. So a lot to get into here. Let's begin with the search at the landfill. And there's a lot of challenges because it's cold, there's snow on the ground, all of that. What goes into that type of search? How do they have to do it? What are they looking for? And how difficult is it to find?
Hold on, y'all. Let me get up this commercial.
This is a monumental task. That particular landfill is over 700 acres. Now, all of it may not be landfill, but 700 acres is 500 football fields. 3 million tons of garbage a year is at this landfill. This is no small task. So what they would do is the landfill, though, however, will be able to guide them of about on these days from these particular communities, this is where we dump the trash. They're also going to have cadaver dogs for sure, and they're going to have to go through this by hand. This isn't, they're going to use equipment to get the trash out, but they're going to have to sift through this. And there's a lot of safety concerns. Methane gas, hydrogen sulfide, and then just think of all the garbage of just thousands and thousands of homes in that particular area being put there. Sharp items, needles, anything that you could think of. So they're going to be in their full PPE gear. They're going to pull that stuff out, but it is painstakingly slow because this is almost like they're excavating an archaeological site. That is how they're doing it, and it is going to take a tremendous amount of time.
And the conditions there are difficult right now with the cold. Now, they seized a trash dumpster, and that's the part of the story. So I'm wondering if they believe that he got rid of things twice, because it seems like they found something perhaps in that trash dumpster when it was seized, but maybe because of the passage of time, the dumpster had been emptied before, and he may have gotten rid of things more than once. Is that possible?
I don't know if it would be more than once. My speculation on this would be if they used any of those blood reagents that I spoke of earlier, and they located blood that was cleaned up, and for them they said, okay, we believe, or maybe they had a cadaver dog in the dumpster as well, and it indicated, and they thought that she had been in that particular dumpster, and that's why they're checking the landfill, because it doesn't, from the digital fingerprint that we're looking at, it doesn't look like he went to the landfill. So what I'm speculating is that she was in the dumpster and dumped in the landfill. So there must have been some type of evidence left behind in the dumpster that they located when they were searching it. So again, it could be hair, fibers, blood, could be a piece of clothing that got stuck in the dumpster that didn't actually get dumped. So that would be my suspicion, is that is what they're speculating.
Okay. And I mean, again, incredible work being done by investigators in this case. Mike McCutcheon, appreciate your insight tonight and your valuable time. Thank you so much. Still to come, how is Ashley's family holding up?
Did it give you any hope to hear the prosecutor say that they are still hoping that she's alive?
Are we doing that? We're good? Okay.
This mom knows her daughter is not here anymore. So,
Real. People wanted answers, and people started
she's just being honest about it. She know her daughter is no longer with us.
You know what you did, right?
Please hear me out. Please. This was a real life.
We're supposed to take care of him now. He's supposed to be a chef. He was supposed to buy her house. He's supposed to cook for her. They had plans, and now it's like he said he's not gonna do anything now. He don't want to do anything anymore. And he's asked me questions like, is he going to his dad's or he's got to stay there now? And I don't know. I can't break down. I've been strong this whole time, looking every day from day one. And it's like I can't really lose it because now I got to take care of my grandsons.
Monica Elkins describing a moment where she, as a grandma, had to explain to her two grandsons that their mom is gone and she's not coming back.
Wow.
Two boys,
sad,
ages 10 and 7. There is a GoFundMe for these two children to support the future dreams of Ashley Elkins' two young sons. Ashley Lachey Elkins had big dreams for herself and her two young sons. Tragically, those dreams were cut short on January 2nd, 2025. Now at just 10 and 7, her boys face not only the loss of their beloved mother, but also uncertainty about their care and their future. We are committed to ensuring that they are well cared for and have the support and resources they need to keep dreaming and achieve the future their mother envisioned for them. That brings us to the next question in our investigation. This is not easy. How is Ashley's family holding up? And when you talk about her family, it begins with the two boys, but then her mom and everyone else in the family. How are they holding up through all this? Joining me, author, certified mental health counselor, Sharonda Brown, and criminal defense attorney, former prosecutor, domestic violence expert, Marie Pereira. Sharonda, the children, the boys are 10 and 7. They're going to have computers. They're going to know about all these stories about mom. Their friends are going to know. What do these boys need, and can they persevere through this?
They're going to need a lot of honesty, a lot of support. They're going to need a lot of time off of media if possible. They're going to need time away from their peers. They're going to need time away from school. And then at some point, they're going to have to resume normalcy. We just don't know when that is. I think the important thing for children is to be told the truth, not necessarily details about what happened to their mom, but I think the honesty of what death is, what death means, and how to cope with that and how to grieve. And the sooner they get mental health treatment, there'll never be an easier way, but at least they'll have knowledge on how to cope and how to deal without them losing themselves, if that makes sense.
It's difficult enough to be a kid growing up. It's difficult enough.
Yes.
Marie, you've got a family now that is going to go through this process, right? There's a primary suspect. They're collecting evidence. They're searching for Ashley. Most believe at some point there will be charges. There'll be a case, there'll be a trial. All of that is going to happen. How do you help the family through this process? If you're part of that DA's office, if you're part of the state attorney's office, how do you do that?
You know, most DA's offices have departments that deal with victims. They afford them counseling. They refer them. And as Ms. Brown said, counseling is going to be key because this is going to be a lifetime trauma that they have to deal with. The DA's office also has help when and if they find her body to assist the victims with costs and things like that. So there is going to be follow-up, but all of that is never going to bring that woman back. She left behind 2 children. I would encourage everyone to donate to the GoFundMe because at least that will be something that is alleviated. That's something that they may not have to worry about. Put the same energy that we put through other GoFundMes that are for less important things and donate to this cause. I think we need to pray for the grandma, because at the end of the day, she's going to have to assume the role of mother. I'm a grandmother. I know how that feels, but I will never understand what the pain she's going through. Let's all
Absolutely.
pray for the family and donate to the GoFundMe. That is very, very important.
Sharonda,
Absolutely.
I've seen so many families and spoken with so many families through the years who are going through all of this. And for this family right now, it seems the most important thing is to find her, and not find her because it's evidence. Find her because they want to find her and they want to lay her to rest. To me, that is extremely significant. And for most of the families, if not all the families I've spoken to, that is like on the top of their list, even before you get
That's
to
the GoFundMe, guys. If
and
anybody,
everything that
put in
takes
their
place
heart that they
inside
want
the
to
courtroom.
donate, or y'all can go back to
every single time
y'all
I
can
got an
go
update,
back
I would
to
screenshot it and send it to him.
to
It was
the
like, to me,
live
that was the
and
perfect
look
gift.
at it. That is the GoFundMe.
Finance chill. That feeling you get when you're on budget and on
Wait,
cloud
hold
nine.
on. These
Let
commercials be
finance
taking me
chip.
down. We are
Oh, yeah,
in this.
absolutely. It is the first step to being able to decide how to grieve or what to do. And we need to know how we're supposed to process, and we can't do that without knowing that this is final. She has passed on. Now I can do something with this information. Without a body, there's still this uneven feeling, and there's still this open-ended part of their lives that would make it very difficult to move to the next level or move to the next step. And we know when we're grieving, the step that most people want to get to is acceptance, but it's really hard, and it makes it even harder when there is nobody, there are no answers, there is no closure. At least with closure, they can say, this is what it is, this is what we do next. They can compartmentalize a lot better. But when you can't, you're just going to be guided by your emotions, and that's that feeling stuck and that space of that immobility. And that is not a good place to be in when you're grieving, especially a mother who has to bury her child and then raise her children at the same time, siblings who are going to forever miss her. This is going to be a really, really tough transition, and they are stuck at the moment. So I don't think they're holding up at all in this moment, and that's normal.
Yeah, Marie, when you see nice families like this and close families like this, and they go through what has happened here, it's so much more painful because of the closeness that they have. We've seen some cases where you go to the courtroom and no one's there for the victim. That's not the case here. This is a painful loss.
She was very, very close to her daughter. She was very, very close to those children. And she's already anticipating assuming a role that she never wanted to assume. This is not going to be something that is easy. And like Sharonda said, it's going to be even harder if, God forbid, this is a no-body homicide prosecution. And that's why they locked him up, put him on ice, on not cooperating with the police and lying while they build up their case against him. He will be prosecuted, body or not, but I pray to God that they find her remains, gives her a proper burial to allow them to have some type of closure, like Sharonda says, because without a body, it adds insult to injury. It's like putting nail on an abscess.
Marie Pereira, Sharonda Brown,
Well
thank you
said.
so much. I appreciate it. I'll never understand it. Even though I've covered so many stories like it, a couple breaks up, then one side just can't handle it. They can't move on.
Right.
There are more than 8 billion people in the world.
Absolutely.
Find someone else. Leave your ex alone.
Tell them
Don't leave
again.
children motherless. Don't leave a mother without her child. I don't get it. But hopefully investigators do, and we'll figure this one out. I'm Vinny Politan. We'll keep digging for answers as the investigation continues.
Okay, y'all, I would definitely keep y'all updated on this story. I'm not going to stop this story. So if anybody see anything on this story, if I don't see it, one of my good supporters, please let me know, because I'm definitely going to keep up with this story. I'm definitely is. And he's right. Like, just why you always have to be mean? Just, You know, I mean, she broke up with him last year, y'all, in 2023 in September. And he was still doing things like this to her, stalking her. You know, why you just couldn't move on like he said? Like, move on. You know? But, you know, OG probably not in the chat anymore. But narcissists, y'all, unfortunately, they don't move on. They don't. They become very obsessed over you. And this man was very obsessed over this woman. Very obsessed. Hold on, y'all. Let me see here. This is the story that I want to keep up with. I'm definitely gonna keep because I love Court TV. Love Court TV. Okay, let me see if I can get another story here for you guys. Let me see. All right, let's check out this one, guys. Let's see what this one is about.
Ok, ¿listo para evitar hablar del salario?
Thank you, Brittany.
This is Susan with Skull Shaver.
Hold on, let
Today
me
we're
see
going to
it.
take a closer look at the Butterfly Kiss Shaver.
Because I'm definitely going to keep up with that story.
That based on the murder with the underlying felonies and the felony murder, that would be a case that you would not be able, that would merge and would not be able to sentence separately.
Okay. Does the defense intend to introduce any evidence in litigation?
We're going to argue, and then Ms. Driver is also going to speak.
Okay. All right. Ms. Crawford, if you'd like to present the victim impact statement, please.
Yes, Your Honor. Can you turn on the monitors, please?
What this is.
Thank you, Your Honor. And would it be acceptable for him to deliver that from the podium?
I think this lady here unalived a child.
He doesn't need to bring anything up.
She wants you to leave everything.
You need to leave it back there, sir.
Can you raise your right hand? Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you shall give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? Okay. You can have a seat.
You will move the microphone.
Yes.
Is it okay to stand?
You have to talk into the microphone, so it'd be better to sit so we can hear you.
Sit, sir.
Forbidden to stand?
Can you state your name?
Benjamin Eliyahu Ben Michal.
Okay. And can you spell that?
B as in boy, E as in Edward, N as in Nancy, Y as in yellow, A as in apple, M as in Mary, I as in igloo, N as in Nancy. D as in boy, E as in Edward, N as in Nancy, hyphen, M as in Mary, I as in igloo, C as in cat, H as in hotel, A as in apple, E as in Edward, I as in igloo.
Well, okay.
L as in Lucy. Eliyahu, I left out. E as in Edward, L as in Lucy, I as in igloo, Y as in yellow, A as in apple.
Okay, he aggravated me.
U as in useless.
Can you tell us what your relationship was to the victim in this case?
The victim was my daughter, Hannah Nicole, driver Ben Michael.
Oh, he's angry. He's very angry.
Mr. Benjamin, I want you to, or Mr. Ben Michael, I want you to tell the judge about what Hannah was like in life.
645 days ago, I had the most beautiful living daughter on Monday. The 5th of December, 2020. She was dressed in a tiny, prescient little pea coat that was also colored pea, curry yellow. We were at a rest stop in McDowell, North Carolina, and I brought her toward her favorite thing, the arbors, in the middle of the rest stop where the grass was green and the trees were tall and the roots were old and ripped up. I like to call her Naima, which means pleasantness, and she was pleasant to all she came and encountered. The most pleasant.
What was her disposition and demeanor like?
While we stood at that tree, she counted every layer of the roots. She was 13 months old. She had had a penchant for trees since she was a month and a half year old. She was sweet. There are babies that are planned. We know what the opposite of that is. But then there are babies that are planned. This child was deliberate, intentional, and the mental work of 2.5+ years prior to her 9.5 months in utero and her entrance into this world. There are a very special sister with 3 babies. And by the last one, Eliana, we came up with a term. There are forward-facing babies and not forward-facing babies. I have an older daughter who's estranged, you've heard about here, named Eiley. She was not a forward-facing baby. Eiley cared about mommy and daddy. Put her head in your armpit and you were wherever you were, and that was not Hannah Nicole. Hannah Nicole was a forward-facing baby, meaning when you carried the baby, she needed to see everybody and smile at them, everybody in the room, as if she almost had an innate nature of knowing that she had very limited time. She had to see everything, and she'd get really, she'd let you know that she needed to be turned around if you were not holding her face forward-facing babies. My sister's little Eliana was like that. I learned to hold her that way. She wanted to be taken around. She wanted to count everything. And she was looking at those roots that day in her little coat, and she had her little curls that came over her hair. And that's my last really strong, close memory of holding my daughter, playing in those roots, those trees. Her disposition was just the sweetest baby. And I'm not saying that as biased dad. I've been around a lot of children. She was different. It's like she was hosting everybody she met. We would run. I wanted to bring the little Legos. So we would run, we would play. By the time she was 13 months old, she had a real thing for little cars. We'd chase them around the room together. I'd crawl with her. Beautiful. She was really weird looking. And some babies have this and some babies don't. Between like 4 months and 7 months, they're like growing. Some things are growing too fast. Some things are growing too slow. But by 13 months old, she was so beautiful.
Did you provide photographs that you'd like to see?
I would like to, please. Yes, Katie.
See you, Hannah?
Please.
Your Honor,
Please, the court.
I'm going to publish the photographs that.
This is me and Hannah together.
And approximately how long prior to her death was this photo?
About a few months. This is at a really beautiful, inexpensive hotel room in Clinton, Connecticut, and the massive floor space for a hotel room like this. And we were chasing those little cars around all day, these little rev-up cars. So this would be the second week of August of 2020 when we were down with my family, as will be depicted more clearly in better photos coming. And my brother-in-law, Nathaniel Lewis, and my sister and her 3 children were all here meeting their cousin. This is in May of 2020. This is the quartz sand of Siesta Key, Sarasota. And we were spending a lot of time there. We were spending time at Nokomis and Venice Beach, the adjacent smaller beaches, and we would come in her wagon. And you can see what she's doing. See, she's not a passive baby. She would grab the handle of the wagon and look at me like it was the most fun thing to get and smile at Daddy at Dover, just to smile into my eyes and say, look, I'm leading the wagon. She'd do it every day. She'd take hold of the handle and say, I steer this. This is my wagon. And this is in Clinton, Connecticut again. And you can see
Yes, she
want to
is,
see her
Brittany.
nature? That's her nature. That's her nature. She was excited and happy and engaging, and she'd come up to you and want to just learn everything. She'd want to touch you and smile. She'd want to get inside you and let you know that you should be happy too.
Oh,
This was me, struggling to
I
keep up with posting consistently on YouTube and getting
don't
consistent
understand why these
followers
people do
until
this to
I
their
found
own
smarter
children and
studio.
other children. Like, get help.
Grandma threw a tennis
Oh, look
ball in.
at her. She's so pretty.
What? Yeah, that's a picture from a little bit of the weirder period where some of the eyes are growing, things are growing a little too fast.
You can tell when he
And
sat down,
this
y'all,
is
he was
the
very
third
angry.
thumbnail for the
I
court
think that's the
picture.
baby mother.
A
He's
little
very
short.
angry.
So that was probably back at about April of 2020.
I think this is the baby
In my
mother
parents'
here.
living room, where she would come up to this piano over here, and she had a knack, and she would start. I'd be playing piano. I've been playing piano since I was 3 years old, and I would ensconce her and encompass her in all my music, and she would come in the middle near the middle C, and she would start doing things that actually made sense. And then she'd look at you and she'd show you she could have a beat. My older daughter, Eiley, has an immense amount of musical talent, but she could never keep a beat, but she would come up with things. But Naima, Hannah Nicole, she could tell where the beat was. She knew where the beat of life was. She knew where to enter the room. She knew where to look at you. She knew where the camera was.
And are those the cars that you spoke of she enjoyed playing with?
No, these are very little cars that you'd pull and they'd zoom around the room. This is actually a toy that I had going back to when I was a child, and it has a revolver inside, like a revolving scoop, and it goes around and
Yeah,
keeps
she
spinning
is
it like a
cute,
collector
Joanne.
toy
She's a cute
into a
little
toy
precious
truck.
thing.
This is a xylophone that was my sister's over here. Little cup. She rode that little Pumobile behind her everywhere in my parents' house. And she was amazing because sometimes as a mother, you wanted to sleep a little bit more. Chloe would go over, Kui would go over, and she would open the bedroom door and lay back down, and she'd thunder down the hallway. She'd just crawl down because we had this whole area on the second floor, safe, the dogs in the kitchen, the stairs over here blocked, and she had this living room up the hallway to the bedrooms, and you'd hear her. My mom still imagines the beauty of her grandchild thundering down the hallway, crawling thunderously. She'd come and she'd play, and my Eiley couldn't leave her for 3 minutes, even when she was 12, 11 months old. Constant.
Exactly, Joanne. Facts.
Ken and Nicole, she got in the living room with her stuff. She'd make a story. You could leave her playing there for 20 minutes. She'd make up a world. She'd put the dolls. She had things that 11 months old, 13 months old, she'd be piling cars. She'd be making a whole story and happily playing. And somebody comes, smile, go over, pet the dogs. This was her world. Everything here, Grandma made the entire house her world. That's why we were there.
Sir, the purpose of this hearing today is to give the court an understanding of sort of the impact of the actions of
Nobody can weigh the potential of the impact. When you lose Grandma and you lose Grandpa and you are not estranged, you have a life, a rich life lived. You have memories. It's painful. It's a natural process and cycle of life. When you lose a baby and somebody entitles themselves by whatever precipitation to get into the moral philosophy, if it is okay or not okay. Do you own your life? Can you take your life? But when you entitle yourself by whatever
just close your phone on and come back in. You'll be updated.
Your mind.
Not like turn it off, but just go out the chat and come back in.
Life based on your opinion of whatever kind of mental illness, lack of mental illness, acting, pretending you're in mental illness, overlaying, masking, it doesn't matter. There is no wiggle room where you are entitled to take somebody else's life because of your impression or opinion. They are there to live life and discover what life is for themselves. The impact of losing Hannah Nicole, driver Ben Michael, cannot be measured. We sat around in the waves of some luxurious beach somewhere for 2.5 years, speaking tenderly to each other, dreaming our daughter. Before she was born, buying her the highest level, best things, doting on her. Nobody knows. Deanna doesn't know. Jeff doesn't know. Your Honor, you don't know. Nobody knows. She could have grown up and given humanity cures to things we don't even have diseases for yet. How can you measure the potential? How can you look at a father and say, the image I have of a 5-year-old, of a kindergartner, I lost the potential, I lost the view. The most unplanned child, to the most unprepared parents is a travesty and a tragedy of the highest order that the parents may never be able to even articulate the pain and loss of. Now you're talking about a baby who was not just planned, but planned. A baby who was meant to put their best foot forward. A baby who was taught to have a moral and cultural consciousness that would give to humanity whatever she could possibly find as her niche and knack in the world. To measure the impact and loss privately, I'm a very hard individual. I've lived a very particular life in countries that are not here to get knowledge and find things. I'm not a good model for initial reactions. In other words, I'm extremely stoic. That doesn't mean there wasn't 13 months after, and every private moment when I screeched like a frightened 7-year-old girl, where I sat for 3 months in a van just screaming and screaming and screaming that this woman believed that she was entitled to take my daughter's life out of this world.
Sad.
Because she stopped believing in having a moral consciousness and the duty to help humanity, because she believed the girls who were with us, not that she didn't believe in polygyny, she didn't believe in the girls who were with us. She believed they were reprobate, second class. She believed she put in more energy and people did not reciprocate to her, and she quit around June 3rd, 2020, and planned Hannah's death because she planned to exit the world and take her daughter with her. She may
Wow.
have even abused her and felt that there was some issue on a phone call between taking the girls to Connecticut when she said, if you don't get your ass back down here to the South as quickly as you possibly can, I will throw this baby on the floor because I'm tired of her screaming and I can't get her to go to sleep the way you do, which was a beautiful segue that I love spending time with my daughter, putting her to sleep. It was
Wow.
like my
This
job
mother had mental
to put
issues,
her
for
against her
real.
heart. We spent lots of time rocking and going into sleep, and Chloe just had triggers from being raped and abused as a child, suffocated and jumped on by a drunken Eric driver who caused her to be triggered by sleep, and she doesn't even know it herself. I apologize. I'm very emotional.
We can tell you are in pain.
With Robinhood
This
Gold,
man is in a lot of hurt and pain.
IRA match.
Wow.
Tremendous.
Your
Mm.
intake
God
process
bless him.
impacts your front
Come
office
on,
and
y'all.
your
Let's get
patient's
rid of
view
these
of your
old
practice.
crazy.
Navigating the additional steps
Some
involved in
nurses here.
And this is the impact on me.
Can you tell the court whether you have any feelings with regard to punishment?
Nothing that actually happened to her would ever change her.
Well, I don't think it was
I
the
don't know
parents,
that
Brittany,
it
because
was
I think he's the
maximum
father
sentence
and she's the
could ever
mom.
get through to her.
So
And
it
that is
seems
to
like
build a
he
new
was
identity, a new map,
a good
change who she
dad
is,
to
manipulate
those
the next
children.
party. Chloe Alexis Driver wasn't a victim. She had the most power in our group. It was called her fits. I don't know what kind of a sentence would help her. I mean, the inclination to say death penalty, maximum.
Yeah, she's
She
looking at
believes
him
she can take the
crazy
life of a baby out of this world, a baby, any baby, and this beautiful
because she
baby
can't
who
take
has
what
this
he's
much
saying. She
potential to
can't
help
take
the
it.
world, an impact that can't be weighed. Nearly unlimited potential.
Seems like he was a great father,
Yeah.
but
There's
he's
a whole
he's
nother
angry.
email with the ones with the family. She didn't send that.
Your Honor, I have nothing further.
Ms. Trethewey.
I have no questions of this witness. You can step down.
Thank you.
That man angry.
Any other evidence from the stay?
Just proper an argument, Your Honor. I'll reserve.
All right. Ms. Trethewey.
Judge, I just want to be clear, and from what we've talked about the entire 4 years that this case has been pending, what we talked about at trial, what we're here to talk about again today, is that Chloe Driver has never once disputed the events that occurred on December the 8th of 2020. We've always all agreed that this was nothing short of a tragedy. She's never denied or disputed that she killed Hannah. Never been any dispute either, but it seems to be falling on the wayside that Chloe also stabbed herself in the neck 5 times, once in the chest, to try to kill herself based on her mental illness. From the very beginning, this case has always been about Chloe's mental state at the time of the crime. That's it. It has always been about a young 17-year-old, then 20, naive individual with pre-existing mental health issues involved in an abusive, both physically, mentally, by a male.
I wish he would have, Brittany. I wish he would have. And this, yes, I wish he would have. I don't know if he tried because I'm new to this. I really don't know.
And living in this cult mentality
Because they just stated she had a mental illness.
It is clear from the evidence that came before this court by both the state and the defense that clearly showed that Ms. Driver was suffering from severe mental illness at the time of the crime, that she suffered from the delusions that overwhelmed her
Oh my
and
God.
told her repeatedly for months that she needed to kill herself.
Oh no. He should have got them kids. Did he miss some red flags here?
In her teenage years and prior to the incident that occurred. We also heard about eyewitness testimony from individuals that were with her and experienced her during this time about her conditions and her subsequent deterioration. And that she had been asking for help.
Brittany said fake crime.
Immediately around her because she
You said the same thing Joanne said.
During the trial, it may not have appeared at first glance to the court or to the jury that this case was about Hannah. It's always been about Hannah. We never disputed what happened with Hannah. But the only issue we were here to decide was to talk about Chloe's mental health. She's always acknowledged what her actions were, but it is also about Chloe. As Your Honor is aware, I have been involved in this case since the day that Chloe was discharged from the hospital. I met her on December 22nd of 2020 in the book-in area of the jail on suicide watch in a turtle suit in a room where I had to speak to her through a mail slot. She had nothing in her room. She had but a mat and a styrofoam cup for water. At that time, she was still suffering from her severe self-inflicted injuries, still suffering from her ongoing psychotic episodes, and grieving over the death of her daughter. Over the last 4 years, I have had the opportunity to watch Chloe not only battle her mental health demons and try to grieve and properly observe everything that had happened, but I've also noticed that she has also grown up and matured. I have watched Chloe grieve for 4 years over the loss of her child at her own hands.
Hey, Auntie Stroke.
Also endured the loss of her own family, physically and emotionally, both her mom and dad, and any of the life that she had before December the 8th. There has never been a time since I've been involved in this case that Chloe has ever said, I am not responsible for what happened, or any attempt to deflect that. This case has always been about mental health and her mental state leading up to the event. It has never been about blaming anyone else for Hannah's death, but simply an explanation to how Chloe got to this point. It has always been about seeking justice for Hannah and for Chloe, asking the state to take all of this into consideration in resolving this case. As Your Honor is aware, we worked extensively with the state for years in an attempt to work out this case based on the facts and the circumstances and the extent of the mental health issues. And also, in an attempt to explain exactly what Chloe, along with other individuals, have endured in a relationship with Mr. Ben Michael. We ask for consideration of those very facts and not to treat Chloe just as any other criminal defendant charged with the crime. That was what we were asking of the state. Ms. Driver sat down with the state, provided substantial amount of information in an interview to the state in an attempt to explain everything that had happened to her.
As your host, I have some
Hold
rules.
on, y'all.
First, no
Y'all know
showers
them
longer than 5
doggone
minutes.
commercials.
This isn't a spa. That's the rule.
This past Sunday was exactly 4 years from the incident. Monday was exactly 4 years to the date that her parents found out what happened to their daughter and granddaughter. Mr. and Mrs. Driver had originally indicated that they wanted to speak on behalf of their daughter today.
Auntie Strauss, what's going on?
But every year at this time, the events of what happened on December 8th of 2020 hits them especially hard. They do support their daughter. Ms. Driver came to trial and indicated what she observed and what she felt.
So true, Joanne.
So we don't want this court to feel because they are not here today that they don't care, they don't support her. This is just an especially hard set of scenario and facts, but also around the time of the anniversary of the incident. There has not been a single day that goes by where Chloe does not think about Hannah, that she does not regret what she did, and would do anything to go back to that time and change everything. There's not a day where Chloe doesn't think about how this affected the very people she loved, and especially Hannah, the one person she knows she was supposed to protect. There is not a day that goes by where she does not wonder what her daughter would be like now at the age of 5, or what her life would look like if she had managed to get away from this cult and treat her mental health issues, which is what her parents had begged her to do. Chloe is and always has been remorseful for her actions. She takes responsibility for her actions and has had 4 years to be able to see and have insight now that she is medicated and diagnosed and away from that relationship. We are asking this court to consider everything we presented at trial and the hearings leading up to trial. We are asking this court to recognize, as the jurors did, that this was never a case in which Chloe did this crime to have Benjamin to herself. It has never been a case about selfishness or anything else like that with respect to the relationship. This case was always about being a severely mentally ill woman with significant trauma that fought and fought against her own mind until she was no longer able to do so. We heard testimony from all the experts and the witnesses about her deterioration in the months leading up to this. We heard about her behavior and the delusions from those who interacted with her during that time. This was never a situation where she was feigning or faking mental illness. 3 experts told us that. Witnesses told us that. There were evidence that she was experiencing these overwhelming psychotic symptoms and delusional compulsions, and that this was something that she fought every day and was very real. There was significant evidence that showed she acted in ways that showed she was losing her mind. She communicated that to the people who supposedly loved her. We all remember the testimony of Jason Spillers. We all remember his testimony about her behavior. We also know he told us how much she loved Hannah and that she would never have done anything to harm Hannah in her right mind. We are asking this court to remember the witnesses that told us how much Chloe loved her child and did everything she could to be a good mother and take care of her daughter, all while struggling with the undiagnosed and untreated mental health issues, all while struggling with emotional and physical abuse at the hands of Benjamin and Michael, and being subjected to this cult indoctrination that alienated her sense of being, her sense of self-worth, and any semblance of independence. But more importantly, it alienated her from those who genuinely loved her and who loved Hannah, her parents. Her parents were the only ones in this whole scenario that didn't view Chloe or Hannah as property. All of this combined led up to what happened on December the 8th, 2020. I'm not going to rehash everything that this court and the jury heard in this case about the 3 different experts, but all 3 experts throughout the pendency of this case have all told us about the significant depths of Chloe's mental illness. All of which agree that she suffers from very significant, severe mental illness. All of these diagnoses require significant treatment, not just medication. All of the experts told us that these illnesses require actual treatment and medication, and they just don't go away. As Your Honor is well aware, Chloe has been incarcerated since her release from Kennestone Hospital. She was 20 years old at the time. She is now 24. Since the beginning of incarceration, she has not received any type of mental health treatment aside from medication regimens, which is constantly in flux and changing, even to this day.
Your contractors will soon be asking for their 1099, and your employees need their W-2. Use the number.
She has absolutely no criminal history whatsoever. We are asking the court to recognize, based on her age and lack of history, that there is opportunity for her to not only deal with these mental health issues, but become a better person and serve her sentence and still be a productive member of society, all at the same time, in justice for Hannah. We are asking this court to sentence her to life with the possibility of parole. Chloe intends to utilize her time in custody in the Department of Corrections to continue her religious exploration, her education or vocational or college training, and better herself. She intends to continue to assess what she needs for mental health purposes and going to continue to take medication so that she doesn't fall back into her previous way. When I first met Chloe, all she wanted to do was die. She continued to express severe concerns that she would still try to actively harm herself and that she didn't want to live anymore. 4 years later, every day is still a challenge while on medication, but it is something that she is facing head on. She understands that she doesn't need to take those desperate actions, but there are reasons for her to live, and those reasons include being there for him. As Your Honor is aware, life with the possibility of parole requires her to serve 30 years at a minimum in custody prior to being considered for parole. At that point in time, she will be approximately 50 years old, and potentially without the physical presence of her parents due to their age. It is something that Chloe is cognizant of, but also understands the importance of accepting her punishment. She has always said that she has no issue with whatever happens, and she will respect the decision of the court. And she understands that there needs to be a punishment for what happened. She regrets this every day. She may not outwardly express it on phone calls, chirps, text messages. But over the last 4 years, there have been hundreds of phone calls, hundreds of text messages, hundreds of visits with myself and Mr. Kessler, all of which Chloe discusses what happened and is remorseful, is upset, is crying. Your Honor saw Chloe during trial, during the issue of Hannah, and during testimony. You saw her reaction to it today. She is remorseful. She is not without remorse and upset about what happened. She beats herself up about it every single day. She tries to talk with her parents about Hannah in a positive light, to keep her memory alive.
I wish she'd have went and got the help when her mother kept telling her to get the help that she needed. And I don't know, like, the father didn't see no red flags in this, like with her, with these kids. I don't get it.
That takes into consideration also.
I mean, you can tell he was a good father, but what did he miss? What did he miss?
Punishment and deterrence. She can be treated, while likely with only medication, in the Department of Corrections, but there are other opportunities for her to avail herself, to rehabilitate herself. And we are asking the court to give her that chance. And we are asking that you sentence her to life with the possibility of parole.
I'll let the state argue and then I'll hear from the driver.
All right, thank you.
Your Honor, first I'd like to address, I don't know that it's necessary, but in response to Ms. Trethaway and her commentary about trying to work this.
Hablemos del salario.
¿Qué es lo que ofrecen normalmente
I
para
really don't
supervisores?
understand.
Si
What did the
compitió
father
con
miss? See, it's more parts to this, so you can tell this was like the last part of her sentencing here.
The state has always offered.
There's 3 more parts to this before this.
Which was life with the possibility of parole. The state extended a plea offer for her to plead guilty but mentally ill to life with the possibility of parole. That was our plea offer and has been our plea offer for a very long time. The law does not permit the state to deviate from a life sentence for murder, and that was the minimum sentence that could have been offered, and that was what the state offered in anticipation of trying to resolve this case to spare everyone the trauma and burden of having to go through this trial. That was an offer that Ms. Driver chose to reject. Secondly, Your Honor, I would like to remind the court of sort of what we saw in the pendency of this case. Ironically, most of the emotional impact of the consequences of her actions came from people who didn't even know Hannah.
Hold on, y'all. Let me get back to the chat. Give me 1 second. Okay, Joanne said, so she was insane enough to be in a poly relationship. She said, exactly, Joanne. Exactly.
We saw grown police officers clearing their throats to try to maintain their professionalism and composure.
That's what I'm saying, Roy D. The father should have tried to get full custody. Yeah, I understood what you were saying, sweetie. You know what I'm saying? Like, wait, hold on, y'all, because I don't want to miss nothing here. Hold on.
And had to watch the autopsy photo.
You're right. I agree with Joanne. Joanne funny as hell. And I agree with you too, Brittany. Like, did the father miss something? What did the father miss? What? Okay, I understand she was young, but what did the father miss when it comes to her mental stage? What did he miss? I know he's had to start seeing red flags, before the baby was born. And after the baby was born, he's seen even more being, got aggressive. What did he miss? And I'm saying this, y'all, maybe we could have missed some things because it's other parts to this now. This is the part 1 and the part 2. We at part 3. You know what I'm saying? But neither here or there. Like, what did the father see? I mean, the mother knew that she had mental health issues. The mother was encouraging her to go get mental health, but she didn't do it. So my thing is, did the father see these signs before he had a baby by her? And if he did he do anything? And after that, with all her abusive behavior, the screaming and yelling at the children, I mean, it's just a lot of questions that need to be asked here. Like, do the father got the other kids now? Like, I don't know. It's just, We are going to follow this story, D. Yeah, I'm going to go back to some more of this story because I need to know some more on this story. I really do. Like, literally, I really do.
Photographs of that baby and the manner in which she was slaughtered by her mother. We watched those people weep and have a visceral reaction to having to see that child in that way. And that was something that was done by Chloe Driver. Ms. Trethewey indicated that this was because of her mental health, but the undisputed fact is she's not in that condition now. She's in above average.
And you know what, Joanne? I believe that played a part of it.
She's receiving.
I definitely believe that poly life, that style that they was living, I believe that played a part of it. She may didn't like that. She wanted this man to herself. This could have took her in a more deeper mental stage than what she was in, or this could have caused that. You know what I'm saying? This could have sent her on a rage. This could have made her hurt her child. You know what I'm saying? So I definitely do believe this poly lifestyle that she was in. Maybe so she didn't really like it, but maybe she loved it, the man, and you know what I'm saying? She wanted to be a part of him, so she accepted that. You know what I'm saying? It could have been all kinds of things, like all kinds of stuff could have happened. So that is so true.
Here, Ms. Trethewey stood before you and said she regrets this every day of her life, and she doesn't necessarily openly express it in her chirps or in her phone calls. And I suspect what she's referencing are the chirps that the state served on the defense that she was sending during the course of her trial. During the course of her trial, where
okay, Joanne,
dealing with the burden and weight of having to advocate on behalf of that child, she's going back to the jail every night and having phone sex with her boyfriend, talking about what size penis she likes, how she likes rough sex, how she wants to be treated like a rag doll, how she wants someone to ejaculate in her mouth. We are all having to watch people fall to pieces over that baby in this courtroom. And she goes back to the jail and can't wait to have phone sex. It demonstrates what we know, which is a complete callous.
Auntie Trace, if you're in the chat, thank you. I appreciate your support.
One person who should care about her. What is very clear is that Hannah Nicole Driver, at 13 months old, she could experience fear, she could experience pain, and she knew that that was her mother. And in the last moments of her life, that's what she got to experience. Panic. Fear, pain, and panic, as a knife was repeatedly plunged into her body. And the fact that...
Okay, let me hold y'all. Hold on. Let me ask y'all a question.
In the condition she's in today...
Okay, let me ask y'all a question. Okay, now the mother knew she had mental illness because, she was talking things and saying things, and she was telling demon stories and stuff like that. So her mom already knew that she did have a mental illness. But what I want to ask y'all, do y'all think the mental illness, the poly life she was living, now y'all heard what the prosecutor just said, that she wanted peanuts and, all that stuff in her mouth, and she would call him on the phone saying she wanted to have rough intercourse with him. And I mean, what do y'all think about that? Like, that does sound like it definitely is some mental illness going on there. But I'm trying to figure out, like, I feel like in a way, okay, the father seems like he was a good dad to the baby, but I felt like he felt the baby a little much so too. Okay, because first of all, you live in a poly life around your children, and there's nothing wrong with that. It's nothing, because you got people that live a poly life, beautiful fathers, beautiful mothers. Okay, but did you see some things that wasn't right? I'm quite sure you did as a dad. Okay, did you do things to make her jealous? Did you do things to make her angry? Even though on top of that, you knew that she had mental illness going on. Because now I'm kind of figuring that he could have played a role in some of her lash outs that she was having. And I feel like she took it out on the baby. I feel like she took it out on the baby. I'm not going to dispute that she didn't have no mental illness. I'm not going to dispute that. Her own mother knows that. So if her own mother knew that, it's no way that the baby father did not know that. It's just no way. It's no way. I don't believe it.
Can go back to the jail after watching her child in that condition and send
Absolutely,
chirps
D. This
such
is
as,
sad.
"I'm
All I
stressed,
can think
talk
about
dirty
is
to
the
me,"
children. Yes.
is appalling to the
She
state.
said
It
herself
should be
that
appalling
she
to the
knew
and
she
it
was
demonstrates
what
that
she was
she has
doing, and she
absolved
did
herself
that for her
of any
for her baby.
responsibility in this and not taken responsibility for the consequences and the weight and the gravity of her actions. It should be really clear to her at this stage what she did and what the weight of that is. And instead, she continues to behave like that. She continues to behave in a way that demonstrates she doesn't get it. She doesn't appreciate what she has done. But just because she has absolved herself of responsibility in this by saying it was her mental illness, doesn't mean that the court has to absolve her of that responsibility nor the law. As we sit here during the course of this trial, 4 years later, when she is perfectly stable and perfectly medicated, she continues to demonstrate a callous indifference for the actions that she caused and for the loss of that baby's life. And that is why the state is recommending a sentence of life without the possibility of parole. Because as we sit here now, she continues to demonstrate that callous indifference and that complete disregard for the life of that child that should be given the utmost respect. And instead, a bunch of strangers from Cherokee County had to be the ones to compassionately extend our hearts to that baby.
Exactly, Brittany. I feel that type of way too. Like I was trying to give him grace in the beginning. You feel me? Because I'm that type of person. I like to give people grace. So I was trying to give him grace. But now just listening at this go on and on and on, I'm like, well, what did he miss as a father? Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's true. I didn't think about that, D. Yeah, like come on. Like no, like I ain't feeling it right now. He felt the baby too. I hate to say it. I feel like that too, Brittany. I definitely do. I feel like that. I really do. You know, as the story got more and more interesting, I'm listening to it. Like, I feel like, what did you do to protect your child? Okay. You had a whole relationship with this woman. If the mother knew this woman had mental illness and that's her daughter, and she tried to tell her daughter, please get help. She said she hearing voices. She was telling demon stories, and you was in a full-blown relationship with this woman. I know you had to see these things, some of these things before this child was born, and after this child was born, you seen things. And what did you do as a father to protect your child?
Ms. Trethaway, does the defense have any dispute about the facts stated by Ms. Robert?
We
as far as
we do. And I'm gonna.
I think Joanne Brittany was saying that because of the simple fact, like, I was saying, did you see signs of mental illness with this mom? Did you see signs? Because her mom did. So did you see signs as a father or as a boyfriend before she had your child? Did you see signs of mental illness? Because her mom did. Did you and her mom have discussions on it? Okay? Before this child was born, after this child was born. Did y'all ever talk about it? And while I said that I feel like he felt his child, because you seen some signs, I'm quite sure you did. There's no way you didn't see him. Did you try to get custody of your child? Did you try to fight to get your child away from this woman? What did you do? That's what I'm trying to say. What did he do to try to protect his child from this incident? That's all, I was practically saying. And I think Brittany was trying to say the same thing. You know what I'm saying? If you seen these problems early on, did you see these problems early on? That's the answer.
I preface this by saying I think it's pretty petty at this point, since we were served these at 4:30 yesterday afternoon. With respect to this.
That's true too, Auntie Strokes. Yeah, that's true.
Here today whatsoever.
That's true. Yeah, that's true. He probably didn't think that maybe she will get to this point to unalive his child. That's a possibility too. Yeah, that is definitely a possibility. I agree with that. Hold on. I can't read this. I gotta go back over this side. Okay. She got mad one day and went and got a knife, and we know what happened. She wasn't in contact. She wasn't in contact with her family. Got you. And what could he have done though? She was mad at not being the only one. Yeah, that's true too. Okay, so I do believe she was mad because she did want to be the only one. She did not want to be in a poly relationship. We can clearly see that. She did not want to be in a poly relationship. She was very angry behind that. So when she went and grabbed that knife after him, uh, maybe he should have started fighting for his daughter then. I mean, his daughter was there in the house. And again, did he see red flags with her mental illness? Even before this knife was drawn. Because if he seen red flags with this woman, had mental illness, and then after she drew that knife on him, that would have told him, get your daughter immediately. Try to get custody of your daughter. I'm dealing with a mental ill psychopath baby mother, and I'm going to protect my child.
The state can acknowledge, and I don't think they would disagree with me, that there are thousands of phone calls and chirps and text messages, including ones with that gentleman right there, that indicate that she was remorseful, that she was upset about what happened. There are phone calls, hours worth of phone calls of her crying on the phone, talking about what happened.
Yeah, I know they all live together. Yeah.
I'll say that she was talking to this individual on the phone for months.
And see, that's probably the reason why he didn't, get the custody, because they all did live together.
She didn't talk about the case at that particular point in time.
So that's a very much well possibility there too, and he was there. So yeah, that's understandable too.
That she was getting away with anything or doing anything. She was not talking about the case because that's what she was instructed to do so. She is allowed to talk to people. She did so at the jail. She didn't talk about the case because that's what we told her not to do. The fact that she didn't say, oh, I'm upset about what happened at trial today, or I'm upset about what happened to Hannah on these phone calls, it has nothing to do with whether or not she was remorseful. And I'm going to say this, and I've kept my mouth shut about this for a very
This
long
prosecutor
time.
here not playing with her.
I have an email from Ms. Crawford from February of 2023. Ms. Crawford and the district attorney's office sought out us to sit down and talk to Ms. Driver at the jail in an attempt to work this case out. I take issue with the assertion by the state that we categorically rejected the felony murder, guilty but mentally ill, life with parole option. What we have always strived for in this case was a reduction in the charge that appropriately reflected the mitigation that Ms. Driver suffered, the mental illness aspect of it. But I'll also go back to this email. This was at the request of the state to sit down and talk to Ms. Driver at the jail. This was also at a time where the district attorney's office was well aware that there had been communication for a very long period of time with Mr. Ben Michael at the jail. In that email, the purpose of this case, the meeting, was to determine what information Ms. Driver possessed about the criminal culpability of Ben Michael, aka Brian Joyce, which could be presented at a proper under oath under any potential plea of guilty that she may enter. The way that Ms. Crawford is categorizing the plea negotiations in this case are inaccurate. The state, during that meeting, Ms. Driver told the district attorney's office and myself she was continuing to contact Mr. Ben Michael, provide
provided them information that they didn't previously have, which subsequently led to the discovery of a bunch of other phone calls. Ms. Shriver told them that. She was honest with them about it. What the state is not talking about here is the suicide aspect that was involved in this case, that the state was looking at this from all angles with the other people's involvement in terms of criminal culpability, but also with regards to her mental health. That has always been what this case is about. She exercised her right to trial because she has the right to do that. She exercised her right to trial because the state of Georgia, despite these plea negotiations and the evidence in front of them, did not want to recognize the mental health aspect and what we were asking for in terms of a lesser charge. Ms. Driver exercised her right to trial to show this world what that gentleman is like, what life with him is like, to put before this world that she is not the only victim of this person, and that in an attempt that maybe other people will be aware of what this involves. She has always accepted responsibility for the actions. We saw it at the hospital. We saw it with Detective Cruz. We've seen it in subsequent interviews with the experts. She has never denied what happened. She's never denied what she did and what she did to herself. And she understands what needs to be happen. At this point in time, Judge, the fact that she's talking to another individual is irrelevant. She's allowed to do that. They're not talking to you about any of the phone calls where she may be talking to her parents about what happened. There are plenty of phone calls where she's on the phone with her mom and her dad, hysterical in tears about what happened and knowing what it did to them and to everybody else that is affected by this.
The state has the right to conclude. Anything else that you wanted to say, Ms. Crawford? And then I'll let y'all approach the lectern and I'll hear from
I would
Ms.
just like
Driver.
to say that the defense's stated objection with regard to all of the sexting she was doing during the trial was relevance, not dispute as to whether it occurred. The state served all of those on the defense. It didn't find it necessary to read every disgusting message into the record, but the state's position is that her general moral character is admissible at a pre-sentence hearing, so it is relevant, and it also demonstrates the lack of remorse in terms of the timing and the context of when those messages occurred in relation to the days we were watching her daughter die on video and reviewing the autopsy photographs. That is the reason the state brought that information before you. So I'll just like to make that clear.
All right, Ms. Trethewey and Mr. Kessler, if you want to approach as well, Ms. Driver, you can come to the lectern and make any kind of statement that you'd like to. If you will place her under oath, please.
Want me here? Listen. Okay. All right, Chloe, for the first thing I'm going to have you do is I'm going to have you raise your right hand. Do you swear the information testimony you're about to give this court will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? I do. Okay. You're going to have to speak up. I know that you're fairly soft-spoken, so.
She should not even want to say nothing.
All right, go ahead.
I appreciate the opportunity to be heard during this whole process. I am terribly sorry for many things in my life, but most of all for who was lost, and I always will be. Every single day I live with my guilt. I have drowned in sorrow and regret with such an acute awareness of it for so long. I never imagined there would be anything more than that for me. Quite frankly, I didn't believe I deserved anything more than just that. In the past, I genuinely believed I had to die every day for my daughter, to hate myself for my failure in protecting her.
Oh,
But
Lord,
I know now
Joanne,
it's
sorry.
wrong,
I
I
missed your
suffered
comment, but I'm
wrong,
reading it
so I
now.
need to stop
Wow.
taking from it. I know now that I must live for my daughter instead and do the best I can to be kind and loving and giving, because that's exactly what being with Hannah taught me.
Oh
I
my
see her
God.
everywhere, in everything. She lives on and shows me
She deserved life. She deserved what she's getting, life.
even where I'm going, because I can feel her in my tears. I feel her in my friend's embrace. I see her in a stranger's kindness, in someone's undiluted joy at seeing their loved one. I hear her in people's laughter, and I know her most of all in my family's loyal love for me, even still. No matter how bad our losses, life can be good again, and this is not my end. I accept my punishment with peace, and I want it to be known for every person that has prayed for me, that our Father has heard you, and I have been given a contentment that the world cannot take away. My daughter's memory rests now, so I am able to as well. I want it to be said that no one ever plans to lose control of their own mind. This trial was only a snapshot of my life and mind. It's easy to review the past and say what could have been done differently. It's even easier to say what someone should have done. But that's just it. In the midst of a terrifying situation, you can't actually think. The horror and fear you feel clouds your thinking abilities and disconnects you from reality. So, though I may not legally meet the definition of insanity as of today, I know in the bottom of my heart that I was, because I never would have done what I did had it not been for my decompensation. In the end, we can't go back and undo the bad, no matter how much we want to, but we can learn from it and prevent it from happening again. I will continue to seek help for my mental illness because of this. I read once that suffering is cheap as clay and twice as common. What matters, though, is what each man makes of it, and I promise I will make the best of whatever you give me, Your Honor. Thank you.
Yeah, y'all stay. Yes. I have continued to think about this case after the verdict, as I am sure all of us have. I have been aware that based on the law, that my only real discretion in this case is whether to sentence you to life without parole or life with the possibility of parole. I am aware, as Mr. Hathaway pointed out, that the parole eligibility in this state would dictate that you would serve 30 years of a life sentence before you were considered for parole. This was a heinous offense with evidence that was so graphic and traumatic that I began to do research on what kind of support and help we could give the jurors who were having to consider it. A parent killing a child is something that just offends us on the deepest level. It is a wrong that just is unfathomable. It just cannot be understood. And it scares us because it is so contrary to just fundamental moral behavior and what we expect of the bonds between human beings. And I have all those thoughts. I have had all those thoughts in this case. I noticed throughout the trial and considered it as part of the tragedy, quite honestly, that there were really no family members here to support you, and that Mr. Ben Michael was not here interested in the outcome of what was going to happen to his child, the person who killed his child. that was a very interesting dynamic to me. So I'm glad to see him here today. You don't need to speak to me at this point, sir. Your opportunity to speak has come and gone. Although the response I just heard doesn't do anything to make the whole situation any less tragic. But as I said, I'm glad to have heard from Mr. Ben Michael and to honestly try to give him some benefit of the doubt, understanding that there is an impact on him that cannot be measured, as he put it, and just again an impact on the universe. One more child who never goes to school, never gets to have a boyfriend or go to the prom, never gets to decide what a career is. It's they're not words to talk about what a terrible thing it is. But I do also feel bound to consider the fact that if you had succeeded, we would not have been here. We would have read about a tragic, inexplicable murder-suicide. I have to take into account that 3 different psychologists testified as to your profound mental illness, the depths of your sickness, your illness. I have to take into account the fact that the jury found you guilty but mentally ill, because they obviously were aware they had the choice of imposing a different sentence. Different verdict, I'm sorry, a verdict of guilty that did not reference any of your mental illness. Georgia law, Georgia statute means that the guilty but mentally ill verdict gives the Department of Corrections some direction and some ability to continue to provide treatment for you, but that is in their discretion. There's no black and white law as to how a judge is to consider that verdict. I will note that the jury found that you did not meet the criteria of not guilty by reason of insanity. The law in Georgia has been the same for about 200 years now. Whether or not that ever changes because of changes in medical and societal understanding of mental illness and how to treat it, I do not know. The intersection between law and medicine can be, well, it does not always mesh well. Things evolve. We now have treatment courts for people with mental illness and addiction, substance use issues, and the law and the courts slowly come about in proper cases to figure out about treatment. I don't quarrel with the jury's verdict. I don't impose this sentence out of sympathy. But I do think under everything that I heard, the sentence needs to take into account
Okay, Joanne. Thank
the
you.
possibility that in 30 years, there may be different treatment modalities, different recommendations.
That's true, Brittany. I agree with you. Absolutely.
For your rehabilitation. I think the notion that you are cured because you're taking medication regularly now is something that I don't accept. I believe everyone acknowledges that, or at least based on the law and the testimony we heard in this case, that borderline personality disorder, for example, is a deep sickness that is not treated just by medication, for example.
Your contractors will soon be asking for their 1099. Don't keep them waiting. Go to
You were treated in order for you to gain competency to be able to actually go to trial. I don't think anybody who's dealt with anybody with mental illness is naive enough to suggest that you're cured. And I know I don't mean that as a criticism or a punishment. It's just reality. You did a horrible thing. But based on the evidence at trial and based on particularly the mental health testimony, the court will impose the following sentence as to count 1, malice murder, life in prison with the possibility of parole. Count 2 and count 3 are vacated as a matter of law in that you cannot be sentenced to more than one murder count when there is only one victim. Count 4 merges into count 1. I agree with the state that count 5 does not merge into count 1 as it contains a different element. That is that the victim is a child under the age of 18. That is not an element of malice murder specifically. So as to count 5, the court imposes a sentence of 20 years to serve in the state prison system concurrent with count 1. You have a right to appeal this conviction. You have a right to file a motion for new trial, requesting other post-judgment relief. You must file any such notice of appeal or motion for new trial within 30 days of sentencing. You are entitled to have a lawyer represent you. And if you cannot afford to hire one will be appointed to represent you. I know Ms. Trethewey and Mr. Kessler are familiar with the procedures of our Indigent Defense Office as to how new counsel would be appointed to represent you moving forward. I would request that the council, if you will remain with us, and we will keep Ms. Driver, we can keep her here to get the minutes prepared, reviewed, signed, and get that taken care of before Ms. Driver is taken away from the jail or the holding cell. Yes. All right. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Okay, as y'all can see, that her attorney was very emotional for her. Yeah, the attorney was very emotional. But it is what it is. She had to pay the price for what she did. You can't go out here and do crimes like that and think you're going to get away with it. So let me see. I may can do one more before I get up out of here. Let's see. Let me see. Oh, I do one, but not as long. Because I'm about ready to get up out of here at 4 o'clock. You know what I mean, guys? Let me see what my boy got over here for me new in the hood. Let me see. That was so sad, y'all. I'm so sick of these women with these long distant relationships and finding out that these men ain't no good. Lord have mercy, honey. I don't know what I'm gonna do with them. I'm so serious, y'all. I don't know what to do with them, Lord. That's all I'm hearing. Like, what is really going on? Honey, you got to be more. No, I don't even want to do that one. Got to be more careful out here. Got to be more careful dating these guys. Bring them into your house with your children. So. Got to be more careful. Let me see here. I don't want nothing too long because I don't want to be up here long. Let me see. Because these people, oh, Lord. Let me see. Oh, this sounds like there's a lot of parts to this one, so I don't know if I want to. I hate to start off with one like. Hold on, y'all. Just give me a Second. All right, let's see here. I don't know if I did this one. Let's see this one, y'all. Let me see. Y'all let me know if I did this one. Now I be doing so many, Lord. I be forgetting. I can't even keep up with it. And let me know
A
if y'all can.
successful 21-year-old entrepreneur, mother, and wife, Tiara Nekia Williams had everything going for her. Her daycare business was thriving. Her 10-month-old daughter, Amiri, brought joy to her life, and her family cherished her deeply. But on June 5th, 2022, in Franklin, Kentucky, everything changed. In the early hours of that morning, neighbors on Patton Road were startled awake by the sound of gunshots. When police arrived at 6:30 a.m., they discovered a scene that would shake the community to its core. Tiara Williams lay dead, shot multiple times by her husband,
Okay. Let
Jeremy
me go to your
Williams.
comment, Joanne. Hold
Jeremy,
on.
consumed by jealousy over his wife's success
Yes.
and driven by his own
Hey, Miss Ray.
insecurities, had made an irreversible decision.
I was.
After taking Tiara's life, he
If
fled the
the
scene.
judge
Hours later,
believed her,
authorities
she
found
would
him on
have
Interstate
been
65,
going
dead
to
from a
a treatment
self-inflicted
facility
gunshot
for
wound.
life, not
This is
prison.
more than just another
That's true,
headline. This
Joanne.
is a story about how unchecked
That is so
jealousy
true.
and
That means
entitlement
the judge
destroy
didn't believe him.
lives. It's about a young woman who worked hard, loved deeply, and deserved so much more than what
Absolutely.
fate had in store for her.
I noticed that the judge
Later in
said
this video, we'll
they
explore an
need
eye-opening
a
analysis of
prison
cases similar to
from
Tiara's.
her
We'll discover how her
treatment.
story...
She may not.
The virus that causes shingles is
Hold on, let
sleeping
me get this one.
in 99% of people over 50. It's lying.
Story connects to other tragedies.
That's true,
where jealousy
Joanne.
and control led to devastating consequences. We'll examine the warning signs that often precede such incidents, including the parallels between Tiara's
Thank you,
case
Brittany.
and other notable incidents that shocked communities across America. What makes this analysis particularly compelling is how it reveals patterns that could help prevent future tragedies. Through examining real cases and expert insights, we'll uncover crucial lessons about relationship dynamics and the importance of recognizing early warning signs. But before we get there, we need to understand Tiara's story, who she was, what she achieved, and how a promising life filled with love and success was cut tragically short by someone who should have been her biggest supporter. Before we continue with Tiara's story, take a moment to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. This channel is dedicated in your support to Tiara's early life and discover how a young woman from Lexington, Kentucky built her dreams into reality, only to have them shattered by jealousy and control. Born on August 23, 2000 in Lexington, Kentucky, Tiara Nekia Williams grew up surrounded by a large, loving family. Her parents, Terry Prince and Lakeisha McCrory, raised her alongside her 11 siblings, 7 sisters, Tizia, Tiana, Marcia, Tatiana, Tikia, Kimberly, and Tisia, and 4 brothers, Elijah, Ezra, Yojan, and Marcos. From her earliest years, Tiara stood out for her vibrant personality and natural leadership abilities. Her mother, Lakeisha, often spoke about their special bond, describing how they were not just mother and daughter, but best friends who shared everything. Her sister Tiana looked up to her as both a role model and confidante. The family's strong ties extended beyond immediate relatives to include her beloved Pawpaw Davis Bailey, along with numerous aunts, uncles, and cousins who played significant roles in her life. This rich family network provided Tiara with the foundation she needed to develop her remarkable work ethic and caring nature, traits that would define her throughout her life. During her years at Franklin Simpson High School, Tiara established herself as a standout student who excelled both academically and in extracurricular activities. Her natural energy and dedication shone through in everything she pursued. As a member of the cheerleading squad, she brought spirit and enthusiasm to every game. Her talent in dance showcased her grace and artistic abilities, while her achievements in track demonstrated her athletic prowess and determination. Beyond athletics, Tiara's commitment to her faith and community was evident in her active participation with the praise and worship team at Harvester Warehouse Pentecostal Church in Franklin, Kentucky. Her powerful voice and genuine devotion touched many hearts during services, making her a beloved figure in her church community. After graduating from high school, Tiara took a bold step toward her future by enrolling in dental school. Her decision reflected her desire to help others while building a stable professional career. Through dedicated study and practical training, she successfully completed her dental program in 2019, earning her certification and opening doors to new opportunities. Shortly after completing her dental certification, Tiara made a bold entrepreneurial decision that would define her professional legacy. Rather than pursuing a traditional career path, she chose to follow her passion for nurturing children by establishing T&J's Daycare. This decision showcased her innovative spirit and deep understanding of her community's needs. Over 3 years, Tiara transformed T&J's Daycare from a small startup into a thriving business that served numerous families in Franklin, Kentucky. Parents consistently praised her ability to create a warm, educational environment where their children could learn and grow. Her approach to childcare went beyond basic supervision. She implemented creative learning activities, age-appropriate educational programs, and nurturing care routines that parents deeply appreciated. Managing the daycare demanded exceptional organizational skills, patience, and dedication. Tiara handled these challenges with remarkable grace, often working extended hours to ensure every child received individual attention. She maintained detailed records, coordinated with parents, and continuously upgraded her facilities to meet the highest safety and educational standards. Her business acumen showed in her ability to balance the books while keeping services affordable for local families. Under her leadership, T&J's Daycare became more than just a business. It evolved into a cornerstone of the community where young minds were shaped and families found reliable support for their childcare needs. Her success in this venture demonstrated that Tiara wasn't just a businesswoman. She was a community builder who understood the vital role quality childcare plays in supporting working families. In late 2017, Tiara's life took a new turn when she met 25-year-old Jeremy Williams. Their initial connection seemed promising. They shared similar interests and appeared to complement each other well. Friends who knew them during this period often remarked on their apparent chemistry and how Jeremy seemed supportive of Tiara's ambitions. The couple's courtship moved swiftly, with Jeremy showing interest in Tiara's goals and dreams. He presented himself as someone who would stand by her side as she pursued her entrepreneurial aspirations. Their social media posts from this period showed a young couple full of hope and affection, sharing moments of laughter and planning their future together. Those who knew Tiara noted how she approached this relationship with the same dedication and authenticity she brought to every aspect of her life. In September 2018, Tiara and Jeremy exchanged vows in a ceremony that brought together their families and friends. The autumn wedding showcased Tiara's attention to detail and her desire to create beautiful memories. She radiated joy as she walked down the aisle, her smile lighting up the room as she stood beside her new husband. The celebration was a perfect blend of elegance and warmth, reflecting Tiara's personality. Her large family, including her 11 siblings, gathered to witness this milestone moment. The reception was filled with dancing, heartfelt speeches, and moments of pure happiness as the newlyweds embarked on their journey together. Photos from the day captured Tiara in her stunning white gown, surrounded by loved ones who celebrated this new chapter in her life. The couple's first dance seemed to promise a lifetime of love and partnership. The first year of marriage brought new joys as Tiara masterfully balanced her growing business with her role as a wife. She took pride in creating a warm, welcoming home while continuing to expand T&J's daycare. Her dedication to both her marriage and career demonstrated her remarkable ability to nurture multiple aspects of her life simultaneously. In August 2021, their family grew with the birth of their daughter, Amiri. The arrival of their baby girl brought immense happiness to the household, and Tiara embraced motherhood with the same devotion she showed in every other area of her life. Her social media posts captured precious moments with Amiri, showing a mother completely in love with her child. On the surface, the Williams family appeared to be thriving. Tiara continued managing her successful daycare while caring for Amiri and maintaining their home. She often shared photos of family outings, home-cooked meals, and tender moments between Jeremy and their daughter. However, beneath this picture-perfect facade, unseen tensions were beginning to affect their relationship. As Tiara's daycare business flourished, subtle changes began to emerge in Jeremy's behavior. His initial support for his wife's success started to waver, replaced by increasing signs of possessiveness. Those close to the couple noticed how he would become visibly uncomfortable when others praised Tiara's achievements or when she received attention for her business acumen. Jeremy's insecurities manifested in small ways at first, questioning Tiara about her daily activities, expressing concern about her interactions with daycare parents, and showing unease about her growing independence. His self-doubt seemed to intensify with each new milestone Tiara achieved. Rather than celebrating his wife's accomplishments, he began viewing her success as a threat to his role in their relationship. Despite the growing tension at home, Tiara continued to excel in all aspects of her life. Her daycare business was thriving, with a growing waiting list of families eager to enroll their children. Parents consistently praised her professional approach, warm personality, and dedication to providing quality childcare services. As a new mother, Tiara showed the same level of excellence that defined her business success. She created a nurturing environment for baby Amiri, while maintaining her high standards at
Joanne, I was
T&J's
desperate to say that he was a
ability to
jealous
juggle
husband.
motherhood and
Yes, that man was
entrepreneurship
jealous.
earned admiration from her community.
I was getting ready to say
and
that.
she
You took it
often
out of my
received
mouth.
recognition for her achievements. Throughout this period, Tiara remained focused on growth and improvement,
I
taking
told him
additional
jealousy is
courses
a
in
disease.
childcare management and
Oh,
implementing
yeah.
new educational programs at her daycare. Her commitment to excellence never wavered, even as she navigated the challenges of balancing her various roles. The contrast between Tiara's rising success and Jeremy's growing discontentment created an increasingly
Sound like he was
strained
very
atmosphere in their
jealous.
marriage. While Tiara worked tirelessly to maintain their home life alongside her business responsibilities, Jeremy's behavior became more controlling. He began questioning her late hours at work, despite knowing they were essential for her business. Friends noticed changes in Tiara's typically vibrant demeanor when Jeremy was present. Her usual confident smile would dim, and she became more reserved in social settings. Though she continued to care for both her family and business with dedication, the weight of Jeremy's mounting jealousy began to show. The situation intensified when Jeremy started expressing unfounded concerns about Tiara's interactions with male clients at her daycare. His accusations became more frequent, despite there being no basis for his suspicions. Tiara found herself constantly reassuring him while trying to maintain her professional responsibilities and care for their daughter. Despite these challenges, Tiara remained committed to her marriage, attempting to address Jeremy's concerns while preserving the success she had worked so hard to achieve. In the early morning hours of
He is
June
definitely
5,
a disease. Yes,
2022,
it is.
the peaceful neighborhood on Patton Road in Franklin, Kentucky would witness a tragedy that forever changed many lives. The day began like any other Sunday morning, with most residents still asleep in their homes. At approximately 6:30 a.m., neighbors were suddenly awakened by the sound of multiple gunshots coming from the Williams residence. Several immediately called 911, reporting the disturbing sounds that broke the morning silence. When police arrived at the scene, they found 21-year-old Tierra Williams inside her home. She had suffered multiple gunshot
Wow,
wounds.
she was
and
so
despite
young and
immediate
so
response efforts,
successful.
she was pronounced dead at the scene. Jeremy Williams had already fled the location in his vehicle. Law enforcement immediately launched a search for Jeremy, issuing alerts and mobilizing resources to locate him. Their efforts led them to Interstate 65 near mile marker 23, where they discovered Jeremy's vehicle. Inside, they found him deceased from a self-inflicted gunshot wound, bringing a tragic end to the morning's events. The news of the murder-suicide sent shockwaves through the Franklin community, particularly devastating for those who knew the young couple. The most heartbreaking aspect was the fate of their 10-month-old daughter, Amiri, who was now left without both parents. Emergency responders, who had hoped to find a different outcome, worked diligently to secure both scenes, while investigators began the difficult task of piecing together the morning's events. The community, which had watched Tierra build her successful daycare business and create a life for her family, struggled to comprehend how such a promising future could end so abruptly. In the immediate aftermath, members rushed to ensure baby Mary's safety and well-being, as the community began to gather in support of Tierra's loved ones. The tragic loss of a young mother, entrepreneur, and beloved community member left a void that would be impossible to fill. The loss of Tierra devastated her large, close-knit family. Her mother, Lakeisha McCrory, struggled to comprehend losing her daughter, who was also her best friend. The pain was equally profound for her father, Terry Prince, who had always been proud of Tierra's independence and achievements. The responsibility of caring for 10-month-old Amiri fell to Tierra's family, who vowed to keep her mother's memory alive for the young child. The impact of Tierra's
Oh, she's
death
so
resonated
cute.
deeply throughout Franklin, Kentucky. The families whose children attended T&J's daycare were particularly affected, having witnessed firsthand Tierra's dedication to their children's care and development. Parents shared stories of her kindness, professionalism, and the special attention she gave to each child in her care. The Harvester Warehouse Pentecostal Church community,
Yes,
where Tierra
Joanne,
had been
both.
an active member of
Absolutely.
the praise and worship team, mourned the loss of her
I'm
vibrant
so
presence
sorry
and beautiful
what
voice.
he did to
Church members
himself
recalled
and
her
his wife.
infectious smile and the
Rob
joy
his
she
wife
brought
of
to their
having a
services.
mother and daughter
Local
relationship.
business owners who had watched
Mm-hmm.
Tierra build her daycare from the ground up expressed their shock and sadness at losing such a promising young
Exactly,
entrepreneur
Brittany.
who had contributed significantly to their community. On June 11th, 2022, the Harvester Warehouse Pentecostal Church in Franklin, Kentucky opened its doors to hundreds of mourners who came to honor Tierra's memory. The visitation began at 11.
Finance and chill. That feeling you get when you're on budget and on cloud
Oh,
nine.
yeah.
Let Finance Chill become your
7 a.m., with people from all walks of life coming together to share their grief and celebrate her life. The service itself was a powerful tribute to Tierra's impact on her community. Friends and family members shared touching stories of her generosity, her dedication as a mother, and her entrepreneurial spirit. The praise and worship team, where Tierra had once lifted her voice in song, performed special musical selections in her memory. Following the service, Tierra was laid to rest at Greenlawn Cemetery,
Exactly,
surrounded by
Joanne.
love
That's
of her
true.
family and friends. The funeral procession,
He didn't want her to
through the
have
streets of
nothing.
Franklin, demonstrated just how many lives she had touched. At this point in Tierra's story, we need to pause and reflect. If you've been moved by her journey so far, take a moment to engage with this video. What signs of controlling behavior have you noticed in this story that others might need to be aware of? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Your insight could help someone recognize similar patterns in their own life. If you haven't already, please hit that like button and subscribe to support more content that raises awareness about these crucial issues. Now, let's move into our unbiased take on the incident, where we'll examine how this tragedy connects to similar cases. The tragic death of Tierra Nakia Williams reveals how unchecked jealousy, insecurity, and entitlement can lead to irreversible violence. While her story is unique, it shares patterns with other cases where jealousy and emotional turmoil became catalysts for violence. Let's examine the broader themes at play in this tragic case. Jeremy Williams' actions stemmed from overwhelming jealousy and insecurity. Despite Tiara's success as an independent businesswoman and devoted mother,
He
her
was
achievements
jealous,
seemed to fuel her
insecure,
husband's feelings of inadequacy.
evil,
Instead of celebrating
demonic.
his wife's accomplishments, he became consumed by fears of losing her to someone else. Similar cases, like the murder of Chandra Whitehead in 2004, demonstrate how jealousy can escalate to deadly violence. Chandra, a promising college student, was killed by her boyfriend during an argument fueled by unfounded accusations of infidelity. The pattern is clear. When jealousy remains unchecked, it can breed dangerous resentment and lead to tragic outcomes. Domestic violence often begins subtly with emotional manipulation and controlling behavior before escalating to physical harm. Jeremy's progression from a jealous, controlling spouse to a violent aggressor follows patterns seen in other high-profile cases. The case of Christy Mack and War Machine, John Koppenhaver, demonstrates how possessiveness and emotional instability can escalate into severe violence. Warning signs often include controlling behavior over a partner's activities, social interactions, and success. These behaviors, sometimes mistaken for protective love, actually indicate deeper issues that can lead to violence.
Absolutely.
In Tiara's case, her success and independence should have been celebrated, not seen as threats to her marriage. Research shows that approximately 70% of domestic homicides involve perpetrators who take their own lives afterward. This pattern often emerges in situations where one partner views the other as property rather than an equal. Jeremy's final actions, killing Tiara before taking his own life, reflect this tragic pattern. Similar cases, like that of Chris Benoit, show how a combination of personal struggles and controlling relationships can lead to catastrophic outcomes. These incidents highlight the critical importance of mental health support and early intervention in troubled relationships. Several key lessons emerge from Tiara's story. Number 1, recognize that jealousy and insecurity are not healthy expressions of love. Partners need to address these emotions through open communication and professional help when needed. Number 2, acknowledge that controlling behavior, even without physical violence, constitutes abuse. Early intervention and support can prevent escalation. Number 3, understand the importance of supporting partners' success rather than feeling threatened by it. Healthy relationships celebrate individual achievements. Number 4, recognize warning signs of emotional abuse and controlling behavior. Communities need
Absolutely.
resources to help potential victims before situations turn violent. Number 5, challenge cultural attitudes that normalize possessive behavior in relationships. True love supports growth and independence. Tiara's story reminds us how essential it is to recognize and address relationship red flags before they escalate to tragedy. Her death, like many others, underscores the need for greater awareness of domestic violence warning signs and more robust support systems for those in toxic relationships. Through examining cases like Tiara's, we can work toward preventing similar tragedies by focusing on early intervention, support, and education about healthy relationship dynamics. Her story serves as a crucial reminder that love should foster growth and mutual support, never control and possession. Tiara Nakia Williams' legacy lives on through the countless lives she touched in her 21 years. Her impact resonates particularly through the children and families she served at T&J's daycare, where she created a nurturing environment that helped shape young minds. The parents who entrusted their children to her care continue to share stories of her dedication and the positive influence she had on their families. Her greatest legacy, however, lives on through her daughter, Amiri. Though she was only 10 months old when she lost her mother, Amiri will grow up knowing her mother's strength, ambition, and capacity for love through the stories shared by her extensive family network. The Franklin community continues to honor Tiara's memory through various initiatives supporting young entrepreneurs and working mothers. Her story has become a catalyst for conversations about supporting women in business and recognizing the importance of healthy relationships. From Tiara's story emerge vital lessons that can help protect others and create positive change. Her case highlights the importance of recognizing success and independence as strengths to be celebrated in relationships, not threats to be controlled. The contrast between her professional achievements and personal tragedy underscores how external success doesn't guarantee safety at home. The community learned that domestic violence doesn't discriminate. It can affect anyone, regardless of their achievements or social status. Tiara's story demonstrates why we must challenge traditional notions that confuse possessiveness with love and control with care. It reminds us to watch for early warning signs of controlling behavior in relationships, not just physical abuse. Perhaps the most powerful lesson is the importance of supporting young entrepreneurs, especially women building their dreams while managing family life. Tiara showed that with determination and vision, it's possible to create successful businesses that serve community needs. Her legacy encourages others to pursue their ambitions while remaining aware of the importance of having a healthy, supportive personal life. If Tiara's story has touched you, help us share this important message. Hit the share button and send this video to someone who needs to hear it. Your one share could help someone recognize warning signs in their own relationship or support a friend in need. Leave a comment below about what you've learned from Tiara's story. What message do you think is most important for others to understand? Your perspective could spark.
That was a good one, y'all. So yeah, we got to be careful. That man was jealous of her already. He did not like her success. He seen her coming up, at a very young age. She was 21. She was doing her thing. And we see that he did not like that. So the warning signs is controlling. You know what I'm saying? Once a man started controlling you, you feel he's controlling you and a woman. That is a big red flag, to definitely keep looking out for. I mean, she owning a daycare, you calling her while she's working, asking her where she's at. You getting upset because she's talking to men at the daycare, which is the children parents. Like this lady had a business that she had to operate, so of course she's going to talk to men come in, drop their kids off, pick their kids up. She had to have a relationship with them, as a business person. So you can tell it wasn't about her success and he wanted to build her. It was about jealousy and controlling her and abusive. He wanted to be very abusive to her, but there's always signs out there to let you know, that you can see abuse. It is definitely signs. And I said, and like the guy just said, that's not love. A lot of people think that is love. That's not love. That's not love. When a man constantly asking you what you doing, where you going, who you're talking to, FaceTime me here, FaceTime me there, that is signs of controlling. It is. You got to get to know these guys before you get in deeply involved with these guys, and then talk about marriage. You got to get to know them before you start having children by them. Get to know them. Don't, invite them in your home and marry them and, start telling them what your business about, what you got, what you want to be, or what you already are. Sometimes things should not be shared right away. Find out what he got going on. What do he have? What he don't have? What he's trying to do with his life. Find those things out. Do he have other children? How long he been out of a relationship? How long he been divorced? How many children he has? How he get along with his parents, with his siblings? Like, it's just a lot of things to to find out, to try to get in a relationship, because all these things that I'm sharing is always the young women. I mean, you got some older ones too, but for the most, it's a lot of young women, and a lot of these women, a lot of these stories that I'm sharing, these women are entrepreneurs. They got it going on. It seems like all these women that I done shared, they was entrepreneurs, already had their grime on, doing their own thing, building for their self, their family, which is their children, and they found some way to meet a guy that was not right for them and took their life. So It is definitely sad. It is definitely sad. And the story I shared this morning, the first one, I'm gonna keep y'all really posted on that one. That one I'm really want to stay on that one right there. I really do. But I'm going to get up off here, y'all. It's after 4:00. Thank y'all so much. Auntie Tracy, thank you for the super sticker. Auntie Lynn, thank you for the super sticker. And Auntie Tracy, thank you for the coffees. I appreciate you so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank y'all, everyone that timed in to me today. I appreciate y'all love and y'all support. No matter what I do and talk about, y'all always be here. I want to say thank y'all so much. I definitely really appreciate that. So I'm going to check into some stories and stuff for tomorrow. You know? So I definitely do appreciate everybody that time in. Y'all enjoy the rest of y'all afternoon. Y'all stay prayed up. Be blessed. Always remember to keep God first. And I love you guys. And I will see you guys tomorrow. Same time, same place. And I don't have to be loud for y'all to want to support my channel with a super sticker or a coffee. I don't have to be live for that. So I appreciate you guys. And I will definitely see you guys tomorrow. So you guys have a great day. Peace and love.